I'm not really a cottage guy. I'm more of the golf club guy. That is my family lineage. My dad, not an outdoorsman. These hands, assembly required. I didn't get toys as a kid that involved like assembly required because my dad wouldn't know how to put them together.
At Mayo Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog, the Wyndham Championship, the final event of the regular season of the PGA Tour. Picks, bets, preview, one and done, plus a recap of the Rocket Classic, Jeff, where you, like many others out there, probably following you, hit Michael Thorbjornsen to win. Me, not so much.
I gotta tell you, Pat, there was parts in that day where
Felt like
I would be celebrating your win.
Yeah, it felt like there was a point of the day where everything just broke my way. I was at the turn. I had both of the guys tied for first, and I was like, here we go. Just one of these guys needs to play respectable golf coming down the stretch and no one else to get hot. Unfortunately for me, Thorb, it's like he channeled all of the other Sunday disappointment that he has had so far this season. It's like he banked all the bad shots then so he could hit his most amazing shots coming down the stretch this week.
Yeah, he's had a couple tastes of the nibble, and this one felt like so wide open that I don't know where or when he started to maybe, feel actual pressure. As noted, that can usually be beneficial. It was a bit of a pillow fight, and he played great. Like, was anyone else who contended under par on the back nine?
Probably just Xander, I think.
Yeah, Xander got one at the end. Maybe Riley was also, but
Riley was, because he made the 3 bogeys on the front and essentially destroyed any chance that he had on the first opening 6 holes of the tournament.
But yeah, and tracking Thor, it was his end of Saturday, which really did it for him, Pat. He birdied 3 of his final 4 holes on Saturday. So to get in, I think, everything but 18, 15, 16, 17. And then, set him up at that 11 under, which kind of felt too far off, but, not so much because who was on top, just because, there were some other guys. You didn't know that he'd do it, but yeah, awesome. What a performance. What a back nine. What a win. I mean, that Brennan OBT shot, man.
Oh, it almost happened again, too. He got lucky it didn't go OB the second time. It's crazy because obviously I had Brennan. I've been betting Brennan because he's been like, and he got Sundayed at the 3M. Obviously, he got Sundayed here. He didn't even get full Sundayed at the Rocket. He got back nine, so we got the OB on the front, but he bounced back pretty quickly with a birdie on the next hole on number 8, and then really went off the rails after that. But he lost more strokes off the tee in this event. He's lost strokes off the tee twice in his career. And this was the worst driving performance full tournament long of his career. If he had just played to 50% of his usual baseline, and if you just go by strokes gained, he wins by 1.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm not going to lie, in this cruel game that is golf betting, I don't think I've been on Brennan like you have been, but I bet him last week and decided not to go back this week. It's part of me, you have those moments where like you just, you can't stand yourself, or, right church, wrong pew, but wrong church, wrong pew for Michael Brennan. The odds boards were giving Xander a ton of respect, and maybe so, but there were moments where he hadn't really separated himself. He had like 30 footers, and they were still putting him as the top guy. I would say from the golf I watched, because I did have a bit of a power outage yesterday up north. So then I became a radio guy.
Oh, yeah. You were away for the weekend. How was that?
Yeah, away for the weekend. The family's still away. Pat, listen, we got a cottage a couple months ago. So we've been up north a bit, and we acquired what I would like to call, or as I approach salespeople in our efforts to, find one that worked for us, because we're entry level here. I went looking for the Toyota Camry of boats.
Oh, God. I don't think you need a boat, man.
No,
You
no,
just
of
need to know,
course.
you need to know someone with a boat. That's what you need to
No,
do.
but now that listen, I get it. This whole cottage thing, I had the perfect setup. I knew lots of people, friends and family with a cottage. I'm not a cottage guy. I'm not really a cottage guy. I'm more of the golf club guy. That is my family lineage. My dad, not an outdoorsman. These hands, assembly required. I didn't get toys as a kid that involved like assembly required because my dad wouldn't know how to put them together. Um, so I had the perfect setup. 1 or 2 weekends a year at other people's cottages. You get that like cottage taste. You get it in ya. It quenches the thirst for it. But yeah, now I'm a cottage guy. And people with cottages, I tell you, I don't have it in me because I've been like, I'll arrive with them. I'll ride up with them. What I observed, even as like a kid going to like friends cottages, like we'd get there and the first like hour and a half, the dad is just like doing laps around the cottage, making sure nothing is broken, everything's still working, touching things, fixing things. And these are people that were like there 6 days ago. I'm not even talking about like the winter stuff. So now I'm in it. Great. So listen, yeah, quick down payment on the boat. You hit a winner. I'm good. Got myself a Camry on the water.
So do you know how to drive it? Are you like allowed to drive a boat?
We're working on that. But there's people in the, that no. The inaugural spins, not by me. But I'll be working on that. We're in August now. This is a goal for next year. But a couple like, laps, kids on the tube. Let's go.
Well, I'm glad that
Camrys of the water cost a lot more than Camrys on the land.
I can see that. Is Patrick Cantlay the Camry of the PGA Tour right now?
Geez, that's another guy. Who hit it better than him? Every hole, it looked like 8 feet, 12 feet, 6 feet, 14 feet, 10 feet. He tracking that the Saturday round, he's out there with Cam Young. It's a whole other thing. Cam stalling on the weekend allows a bet to get home. Thank you, Cam. Do me a favor. I don't know what to make of Cantlay.
Yeah, he was third in approach on the week. He trailed only Hideki and Brian Campbell, of all people, who, for whatever reason, couldn't chip or couldn't putt. He lost, what is this here? 8 strokes between the two, chipping and putting, but did gain 9 strokes on approach.
And correct me if I'm wrong, like outside of the match play format, which is his own thing, Cantlay, like historically, a very, very high-end putter for like those tier of golfers, right?
Yeah, I would say he's on the upper tier. He's not Sam Burns.
Yeah, sorry. I
he's
added an
good.
extra very, an undeserved very. He's a very good putter. Compared to the guys he would go off at in the years they were winning tournaments in that 20 to 30 to 1 range, like he was a better putter than most of those guys, or all of them.
But a lot of it was just a Saturday round. He couldn't make anything on Saturday. He was Patty ice cold putter. And just even the broadcast still talking about it on Sunday. The broadcast was really weird on Sunday. They were openly rooting for Davis Riley, which I did not expect. Everyone on the broadcast. He must be like the nicest guy in the world.
Best part of the broadcast, almost spit out my drink on Xander on the par 5. Did you hear? He like shanked his shot, and you hear someone in the guy go, "What the fuck was that?"
It happened on back-to-back holes. It wasn't the par 5. It was 13. He got it nestled down in that left rough. Thorbjornsen got bailed out because he ended up with a really nice lie. It was sitting up so he could go over the tree. And it was just a hosel from Xander that ended up in the bunker. That was essentially what turned out to be the end of his tournament because he couldn't get it up and down from the bunker for there. He hit it just past the hole and it went all the way down the slope. The next hole through, though, Chris Kirk does the same thing, but then shanks it out of bounds from the same spot.
So Chris Kirk, what did he finish?
I think he finished 8th. He had are we betting Chris Kirk this week? Because he felt like if he had just made, you want to talk about cold putters, that guy couldn't putt at all. He made a few on Sunday, but he couldn't putt on Saturday.
So Cantlay's, I experienced sort of like tracking, and trying to enjoy the day. Every look 20 minutes tracking. He had the putt, he missed the putt. Every time I came in to watch golf, Chris Kirkwood hit it to like 5, 6, 7 feet, missed every single, I don't want to say everyone. He obviously played well. He missed so many of those. Oh my God. And some of them didn't even flirt with the hole.
I don't know how he turned it around on Sunday, but he did. But obviously, being first tee to green in your Chris Kirk, you're going to regress somewhere. He regressed a bit tee to green, and obviously he hit one out of bounds, and that's really going to hammer your stats. And he still ended up really good for the week. I think he was second or third tee to green. But the putter showed up a little bit more for him on the weekend. But it was really weird. Brennan was kind of running well, and then he hits it out of bounds. But the big thing for him all week had been his putting. Obviously, he putted incredibly, but it wasn't so much like he made a few bombs. He and Riley both made the bombs on one. Riley made every bomb in the book on Saturday. Didn't matter, 65 feet in, didn't matter. But Brennan's speed was so good all week. It was pretty incredible. Like 65 feet, nestled up to a half foot from the hole. Just easy tap-ins, no three putts. And then whatever happened, whether it was the contention, whether he was just dealing with like hitting driver left over and over and over, and he just got him out of his rhythm, he lost all of his speed control on the back nine. Maybe because it warmed up a little bit, it wasn't so soggy, and the green speeds changed later in the day. But all of a sudden, he was blowing it like 5, 6 feet past, where before those were just nestling up to like an inch, just missing. Essentially what Xander did all week. Xander's entire week really came down to Saturday as well, because he just didn't make any of those putts. He finally made a bomb. I think it was on 9, maybe it was 7 on Sunday. That was the only like chip in, long putt, whatever it was that he was able to make. And you just look at the rest of the leaderboard. These dudes were chipping in, making 50 footers twice around. Like, you just can't compete with that if you're not making them as well. Like Thorbjornsen's chip in was the entire like momentum swing of that round. You could see it happening in real time when you were watching it. Like as Brennan and Xander were either like tied or a shot back with him at that point, like on hole 12 or 13. It's like one of these guys needs to drop a bomb. They need to chip in. They need to have that like reversal of momentum on Thorbjornsen. He grabbed it and just kept rolling, and no one else could grab it. Riley was the only one who really gave him a chance coming down the stretch, but no one could sit there and grab it. It had to be Xander, it felt like, as he was playing with him. Like all the momentum Xander had, Thorbjornsen snatched it away from him. Xander just couldn't get it back.
I mean, a lot of very well said things there. To that Thorb birdie, I believe it was 11. The power was out for me. I listened to it on the radio. Only the shot. Like, I didn't hear the progression of the hole. It seemed like how the announcers reacted, like it's just the break you need. At no point in that hole was like they're a birdie for Thorbjornsen. He drove it bad. The approach was
bad.
I guess what it was. And yeah, that is the sort of moment in sort of trying to replay what I saw, what I tracked. No one else had that like birdie from the sky on the back nine.
Yeah, and on the front nine, it was Rasmus Højgaard who was doing that.
Oh, I tracked that eagle. It seemed, yeah. I mean, what and then he followed up the par 5 with the putt, and then it did seem like, yeah, the one time Thorb was sort of in trouble, he made a birdie with a chip in.
Yeah, and those are the breaks that you need. Those have to go in. Ricky actually made one too on the really long par 3 on the back, where he just put it in the place where you can't put it, left his chip short, then chipped in. And then he just immediately like melted down after that. But that was saving his round at that point.
I'm obviously reacting to the last 2 weeks, but it feels like it seems plausible and likely that this swing of the season is going to become like what the fall was in terms of like the breakout.
Maybe, because you still have and I guess 2 years from now we won't see this because Xander and Cantlay won't be. Hell, Thorb isn't even going to be there at tournaments like this. Of just when they split up the schedule. But it's nice to see these guys come out on top. Like Koivu beating Scotty means something, and Thorbjornsen beating Xander and running down Cam, and Cantlay being in the mix. And I mean, Hideki was in the mix, but he really wasn't. He did this last week too, where he just had an awesome Sunday to get. How do you gauge that? Because I know that people are going to bet Hideki now. Like, look at the results. The form is really good. But he was able to post these 2 huge rounds back-to-back Sundays when he had zero chance to win this tournament at any point, just like last week.
I mean, to be honest, my perception of Hideki is And there's something I wanted to say about this event.
I love
Oh,
the. I'm pissed they're taking it away because the way that they redesigned this course with the tons of fescue, the bigger greens with more pin locations, I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a very fair course and a fun one to watch.
and you watch this thing based off, you watch this event after the golf you watched most of the year, where, as Larry joked, don't need to do Larry, Tom, and Marty's every time. Just be Larry. Okay. Larry. Larry joked that it was actually some of the most penal fescue we got on the PGA Tour this year, and they played majors at places with fescue.
True, but it also depends on where you're at. So, like, I played between like playing Cabot earlier in the year, like where I'm at, because we have a lot of fescue around where we are. That if you hit it into the fescue at Cabot, most of the time you're going to end up like at an open championship, just based on like that's actual links land. That it doesn't get so full that you can't find your ball, or there's the fescue might wrap around your club, but it's entirely playable out of that style of terrain where you're at, like the link style, as Keith kind of said, that dead area between the beach and where the actual farmland is, so it doesn't come in as thick. I played at a course that is a linksy style course that has a ton of fescue, but on like the inward part, they have a ton. Like if you miss the fairway by an inch and it was in that stuff, that's what I played last weekend. Like it was unfindable. You had to take a penalty. Like it wasn't even that you couldn't hack it out. It's that you simply could not find it. It was so thick. And I think for pace of play purposes, they just don't like to do that at the PGA Tour. And hell, most clubs don't like to do that because it's one thing if the PGA guys who aren't hitting into it are taking forever to find it and slowing down play. Imagine what's going to happen when you get your weekend hackers out there who refuse to lose a ball.
Yeah, or even, people pay, a good amount of money to pay a golf course. They want to have a little bit of fun at the same time, if they're half decent. So both last week and this week, based on the fields, like I know, when you zoom out, you can make fun of like the 3M and Detroit, like just based on what they are relative to the schedule. Get a joke that the season finale is somewhat the Open. But the fields that were beaten and the players that were there, these are like hyper legitimate wins. Not that they wouldn't be in a, if it was well, they'd still be legitimate. But these are like no holes in these 3M. Beat Scotty. There was a great crop of players here at the top this week. So full credit, full win, no even fake joke asterisks. Not that anyone would have, even if some of the players weren't there. That need to be said. As for Hideki, I saw this book I don't have access to. Only really Florida does. The Rock. They opened with a 40. People seem pretty excited about that. That makes a lot of sense.
That's not a real number, though. That's not a number you're going to get anywhere else.
Yeah, you probably couldn't even bet much on it anyway, an opener at the Rock. But I guess what I'd like to say, Pat, is my perception, and he's playing great. He's having these great Sunday finishes. I cannot remember the last time like a Hideki win was in the oven and popped. Hideki wins in the more recent years because he's so good. They just fucking come from the sky. And that's why when Hideki balloons to some crazy numbers,
you bet him.
People like to bet him because like he has proven, I think he did it last year in the FedEx, the wins can just sort of come from the sky with him. That's where they sort of have come. I know he had the opener in Hawaii a couple years ago, the FedEx. They're just, I don't know. I don't feel like I want to bet a beaten down, a popular Hideki with it feeling like it's in the oven. I'll feel stupid on Sunday, but I'm off a win, and I'm saying I don't think I'm betting them.
I'm not going to bet him either, just because I don't know. And you're right, and that FedEx one was 2 years ago, by the way. He hasn't won since the Century Tournament of Champions at the beginning of last year. So this January, if he doesn't win here in the next few weeks, it's going to be 2 years since he actually won an event, which I think people would find pretty surprising. Did you see that they changed the actually, no, he technically won the Hero World Challenge the Tiger Albany 16 guys. He won that this winter. So last December is actually when he got his last win. But before that, it had been January. So he won the first and last event of the year. Torrey Pines is going to be the new Century Tournament champions.
Yeah. So I guess that's the thing. Every couple of days, we're going to get some rollout. Selfishly, I'm concerned. Don't know that RBC is going to want to do like two of them at like 33 million a pop. So, I'm selfishly worried about where Canada might fall.
I'm guess
But
I would guess that RBC will stick with the Canadian Open over the Heritage. That would be my guess, it being a Canadian company.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
If it's a Champion Series event, then there's no discrepancy between the field anyway.
Okay, that is true. But that week, like out of the Masters, they've really enjoyed that. So we got like every few days there have been other announcements. Obviously, like MasterCard isn't happy. They were moved after the players. They liked being before, but MasterCard's out in a couple years, and the PGA Tour has just said MasterCard or no MasterCard. We're gonna find a great sponsor for this thing. It's got Arnie's name on it. That's getting elevated. No surprises there. I do think when it's all said and done, the however many it is, the 15, 16 events and the sponsors that back them, there'll be like no concerns about the health of the sport.
I would agree. Do you think this $250 million to Live is going to save Live? That's almost
No,
as much as
that's
John
like
Rahm gets paid.
That's like a pimple on my ass. Like where, like, I don't know, or whatever dumb analogy I just botched. Like, what is that? That is, how quickly you'd eat through that if they actually want to exist and they have to pay like the vendors that they have sort of bailed on for the moment because they're cash poor. Like that might get them above water for a little bit. But what it costs to put on these events, let alone the traveling circus that they bring. I don't mean that in a rude way. It's one of the reasons logistically, financially, the PGA Tour reined in some international. It's just, you go to place. You don't have like the infrastructure waiting for you that you can say bring in from the other cities, when you're in the regions or what have you. I don't know that it does it. 250 million. I don't know where that gets them. That keeps it alive like for another week. Like that's like a gambling addict who sucks, giving them an extra $250.
Yeah, that's being down 10 grand and be like, oh, here's a $500 bonus bet for you.
And I hope they get through the year. I don't like it sucks to read stories of like them not paying vendors for which they've contracted. And in some of these places, it's not, it's like smaller time family business. It's not like huge conglomerates who are their vendors who are, doing some of the outsourcing for them. So it's good. Like everyone can get whole, but I don't know what you would want to invest in. I don't want to pick on. They're in New York this week.
So if they have a good event, maybe the Michigan team event ends up going through. But to your point that you made earlier, like Live will probably continue to exist if they can fund this money. But it's going to take place in like South Africa, Australia, Southeast. It's basically like the minor league Asian tour because you're going to see Richard T. Lee and Sean Norris in there. You're not going to see John Rahm.
Yeah, I mean, sure, Live can exist in the same way, there's a documentary on the one Blockbuster video in Alaska.
Yeah, like how Sports Illustrated still exists.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, Sports Illustrated sort of exists now in the way like Playboy exists. It's just like the IP of the name. And I mean, like Playboy has a logo that can still like sell off in some ways.
Remember?
But yeah, it's just like the IP of the brand.
Did
That's
you ever
like
have,
what it is now? It's not even a real thing.
Did you ever have friends in college who got the Playboy tattoo?
No, I didn't know anyone. Who was that obsessed with Playboy.
It was never men who got it. It was always women who got it.
Okay, yeah. You know what? Okay, yeah. No, I remember like necklaces. That stupid bunny. I remember Howard Stern always making fun of Ronnie for his Playboy mud flaps on his car.
He should get made fun of for that.
Yeah, that was no. But I yeah. Like when I go to like on vacation, yeah, okay. I know I've seen a few of them. I didn't have any friends with those tattoos though.
I've talked about Helix for years and will continue to because it's one of those products I actually use every single day. In fact, there are 5 Helix mattresses in my house right now, Ours, the kids, the guest room, and every single one has been fantastic. They're comfortable, they've held up incredibly well, and getting a great night's sleep actually makes a huge difference when you're trying to keep up with work and kids and trying to golf as much as possible and everything else that you might want to do. What I really like is that Helix has over 20 different mattress models, so you're not just stuck with a one-size-fits-all bed. Whether you like to sleep hot or cold, or looking for something firmer, or you want a softer feel, there's an option that is built for you. Plus, every mattress comes with a 120-night sleep trial, a limited lifetime warranty, and the Happy with Helix guarantee, so you can buy with confidence. Head to helixsleep.com/Mayo and use code MAYO for 20% off during the early access Labor Day sale. That's helixsleep.com/Mayo. Make sure you enter my show name after checkout so they know that I sent you. All right, let's talk about something no one in endurance sports likes to admit. You can be training your ass off, cardio, stress, not recovering properly, and yeah, it can mess with your performance everywhere. Because it all comes back to blood flow. Most guys jump straight to pills. That's just treating the symptom. The real key is nitric oxide. That's what controls circulation, endurance, and yeah, performance. That's why Joy Mode actually makes sense. It's a natural booster that supports nitric oxide production, not the fake pixie dust stuff. Just tear open a packet, mix it like an electrolyte drink, and you are good to go. Use it when you need it, or use it daily to raise your baseline. Think of it like training. One dose helps, consistency changes everything. If you want to support sexual performance the same way you support training and recovery, naturally and intelligently, Joy Mode has a deal for my listeners. Go to tryjoymode.com/Mayo or enter Mayo at checkout for 20% off. Joy Mode, the electrolyte packet for your dick. We did a bunch of content last week, so apologies for the newsletter blast being pretty minimal. I wrote up the picks. That was about it. I should have a full one coming out on Monday with a full breakdown of the course, everything like that, the modeling. But Pizzola was here, and we filmed the first thing that we did is we got Cam on the line, and we filmed another division preview, which was easily the best division preview that we've done. Having Rob in studio was very helpful. That comes out tomorrow. We recorded 3 educational videos on football betting, just straight up like kind of facts, like what you need to do, how to spot good lines, bad lines, that kind of thing. We did a research method show, which I think is going to be pretty helpful. And Jeff, we did one about using AI to refine your process and how to actually do that, which I think is going to be a very helpful video for everyone. But the big thing is what I want to film with you, if your knee can hold up, is we actually filmed some YouTube golf. Me, Pizzola, and Cust got on the course and we filmed it.
Yeah, my knee's feeling better. I had to take some time off because I was playing a lot and it was just swelling up, and I should probably put my knee brace back on.
Yeah, we got filming the Custies this weekend. Hope to get you down here to do the AFC and NFC win total show in studio with Cust.
Yeah, it's August. Like, I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it. I'm looking forward. Part of my brain is like, when is Pat giving me a show? Not me a show. When is like the show where I can give my like definitive stance on the Chargers for this year? And I'll just tease, it's not the Super Bowl, but
it's beyond
I'm
the
like
Super Bowl.
Foaming at the mouth.
Yeah,
I'm foaming.
We listen. We released the show last week.
I know.
People enjoyed it very much.
I know. We're almost there. Right now, it feels like we're at the stage where it's like a football show once every like
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah. And then in 2 weeks' time, it'll be a football show every week.
Yes, I can't wait. There's so many things. Like, we did a show 2 weeks ago, and there's already things I can't wait to talk about. Not even like many things, not even to do with the Chargers. But I'm fired up. It seems like a lot of the entities, the content entities, made early camp trips, which I wish they were like a little later in camp, where things were like a little more sort of down the road. But hey, that's fine. Get me fired up now. That's okay. It's okay.
I don't think I've ever consumed content like we're at Bill's camp. I need to check this out. Like, I don't understand who this is geared for. Clearly it's not me. And there is a huge market for it because people really like this stuff. Not for me.
Okay, well, I'm not there for like the Kay Adams, like annoying 20-minute interviews per se, but like Robert Mays from The Athletic is there for a day. Albert Breer like a 4-minute video on his day there. Like that's yeah. No, I'm not there for like the puppies and the babies, or even like, a thought like Kay. I just wanted, boots on the ground.
It's just disparaging. Friend of the show, Kay Adams.
Listen, she's crushing it. That was not disparaging. That was probably a compliment. But like her sort of how she goes about it is not like what I am. Like her peripheral, I need to get in the guts of it. She's just looking to like, rub some arms.
Okay. Back to, oh no, there is one thing that I wanted to talk about. Did you see these Grant Horvath pictures?
I did not really even know what they were. I saw them like memed before I saw the real thing, so I was really confused. But yes, I have now realized what it is going on there.
So he tried to recreate a few of like the most iconic photos in golf history. So he had like the Jack with the putter up, although it didn't. You think that whoever was advising him on these photos would have been like, maybe we should take 2 on this one and like see if you can get it a little bit closer. But he had the Rory one, where Rory like kind of collapses on the 18th hole when he won the Masters 2 years ago. It looks like he's about to take a giant load in a porn video.
Yeah, that one doesn't play like on an empty green.
It also doesn't play when you don't have the same camera angle. Like if you're shooting it from your fucking iPhone, it's just not going to look the same as like a wide angle lens in which that picture was taken.
Yeah, wide angle lens that you can see like there's thousands of people sort of around this, as opposed to, yeah, like you said, more of a zoomed in, empty, by yourself. I don't really want to blame Grant, although Grant is like deep enough in it where he could probably be like, yeah, we got to like rethink this one. This campaign isn't like, we got to just rethink it. We got to go back into the lab before we put this out. I think it makes Grant look bad. I don't even know who it's for, I guess, which is a problem because someone's paying Grant to be part of, maybe it's clothing or apparel of some sort, some golf related brand. Wouldn't even know who it is.
I have no idea either. But again, that was the first thing that came to my mind was, who is this for? And B, why wasn't there a producer here being like, let's maybe change the angle of this a little bit. Maybe slump your shoulders back a little bit more here. Like it looked really manufactured, which I think is weird. I mean, obviously it is manufactured, but if you're going to do this project, making it look manufactured makes it look even worse because those are all such natural moments. Maybe
so in like a past life where we were growing up, speaking of the Sports Illustrateds and the Playboys, an ad like that, a still image, it'd be in a magazine. And like the layers of like before meetings, after meetings, going over the shots, picking the 1 or 2 you use, it seemed like an extensive process. Now, like Grant, so now with today with content, like you would only want the best one. I'm saying in the olden days. Now there is value into doing something so bad, realizing you're doing something so bad, and releasing it anyways because of like the engagement. And you like go into it knowing like this one is going to be meme, this is going to be mocked, but like this is going to do 100x what like a generic Grant Horvath for some like golf glove company just would do.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair, but I don't know if that was the intent when they were doing it. That's what it has turned into. The other question is,
Grant is at a point where like, he can demand a lot of money for brand partnerships. Which would also mean he's at a point where he could have some level of like creative control, or someone on his team has some level of creative control before it goes out. And if it was on purpose, then that's like, I think, I don't know. I mean, it's embarrassing either way. Nowadays, you can save an embarrassing bit by like saying it was for, we knew it was bad, it was for engagement. So everything can now live in the gray now. And you can play like whichever side. If it gets acclaim, then you can, own it as a real idea. And if it gets shat on, you can just claim that it was for shits and giggles and, for engagement farming. So you never know anymore.
That's true. You see Brad Dahlke played in the Rocket Classic, came DFL?
The course they played in Germany was probably harder than this one.
Oh, I don't know
where
about...
he did okay.
I don't know if it was harder. I think, maybe it was. I'm not super familiar with the BMW International course over in Germany.
So I just, they did this Renault, and maybe I should take the old approach of Detroit out of my head. But a lot of those European Tour courses are like, I'm not saying the PGA Tour players wouldn't go there and have great success. Obviously they would. But they're like, feel like they're far more narrow and penal than most PGA Tour courses. And that's just like by waking up and watching for an hour on a weekend.
Well, they're different, and there's so much to a similar style of course on the PGA Tour that guys play week in, week out, especially at these non-signature events that are a bit formulaic, where you go to a TPC, and a lot of the TPC courses share very similar features with how the agronomy works and how they're upkept, because they're all part of the same network. Where over in Europe, you're going from country to country, completely different federations setting stuff up. Even the setup themselves of the tournaments are going to fall underneath a different jurisdiction of a lot of these things. So yeah, I think there's more unique style of play week in, week out on the European Tour. But if you dumped this collection of PGA guys at that course over at the BMW Championship, the scores are probably a lot lower.
Yeah, I don't want to.
But I thought it was interesting.
I feel bad for Brad.
Hey,
I don't know.
But maybe the move is go play on the Euro Tour, like get some licks in, because when you're only playing like sporadic professional events, like you're going to be wildly inconsistent.
100%. I don't want to pick on him. I'm not a content golf guy. I've said that.
You're about to be when you fly out here.
Sure, but now let me say that.
You going to be nervous? I
Yeah,
I gotta tell you, for like the first two holes, it was pretty nerve-wracking.
I'll be really fucking nervous because I know, like, I'm gonna top it on not my drive. I'm really never nervous hitting a drive. I could bump one out there, save embarrassment on the first tee. But I know I'll like top my first approach, and I know that's gonna be like repurposed, which is fine. Like everyone out there, other than like 8% of the audience, is probably no better at golf than I am. But yeah, I'll be nervous. I will be nervous. But once all it would take is a couple decent holes, and I would be able to then free up. Like if I parred the first hole, monkeys off the back, like I could triple the next and be like, you saw the par, like I don't suck.
Well, we played it as a scramble for efficiency purposes and to get that stuff out. Like, well, Gerard, you did the filming for it. Just as a quick spoiler for it, won't come up for a few months. People won't remember this. I hit an absolute bomb on one, and it's probably the best drive I've hit on one at my course all year. And then I think I put my wedge 40 yards over the green.
Yeah,
with a blade.
Yeah.
Got a
almost
bit
on
too
the
amped
next
up,
tee
Jeff.
box. Yeah.
Yeah. So sure. I'd be no, but I think here's the thing, over 18 holes, I will like golf how I golf. There'll be like doubles and triples. There'll be pars. And, I hope it ends up, my good is good, my bad is bad. Like most, 15ers. Like that. But to bring it full circle, anything can happen when I'm over a ball. Same with Tim. Even you.
Oh, yeah.
These guys who are pretty much scratch golfers, better than scratch, I am not entertained by watching scratch golfers do content. I'm just not. I'd rather watch Korn Ferry. I'd rather watch LPGA. Now, golf is amazing. Like anyone can find their gateway into golf. Anyway, like I encourage that. If that's through like internet content, good for you. Like, let's go. But for me, I need to see like shit show. That's why the Portnoy Internet Invitational was better, or I enjoyed that because there were, guys like Jersey Jerry in there, and there was they were playing for so much money where even the good golfers, had nut up moments. So just watching Grant play casually with his friends for shits and giggles, or Brad, it just doesn't do it for me. There's other golf content for me. Your golf content, Mail Media golf content, I could 3-putt from like 14 feet. And no one who's ever golfed with me would be like that shocked. Like we've seen him do that before.
Oh, for sure. So I had not really dip my toe into really consuming much internet golf, like this sort of content. But I was like, beforehand, I should probably go watch like all the big guys and some other stuff. And I was very helpful because one of the guys I know had previously shot some of this stuff around here. So we had him out as a cameraman and as like kind of a producer.
You're probably paying attention to more logistics than like
I was.
the golf.
I was like, how do I actually shoot this?
Yeah.
But the one thing that I noticed was the exact same takeaway that I had from you. And Jared, you kind of put me onto this as well. Like the Bob Does sports guys it's a far more compelling product because they're not like awesome. Like it's fun to watch. Like, yeah, okay, I get it. Like I've done that.
Like I watched John Rahm dummy 12 tacos. And I'm like, that's fucking sick.
Dude,
like awesome, yeah.
Pat, maybe this should be a show because everyone has friends. Like you guys do your Ryder Cup. There's guys with like 20, 18 handicaps. Nothing is more fun than like when I'm golfing and it's my two friends who are like the worst and they want to like bet each other on a hole and how much fun the rest of us are having watching that. And to me, like that is relatable. And yes, that's funny to me because those are my friends and me and my friends can make jokes to them that we would only get. But I could watch anyone out there. I could watch your two buddies who are 25 handicaps, who are like lifelong friends in an intense 1-hole, 2-hole, 3-hole shootout, playing for something that they both care about, even if it's $50. That like I would watch. I would watch that. I would at least give that a shot. In a way, this other golf content, nah, I can watch Corn Ferry if I want to watch +5 for 4 handicaps, +2s.
Yeah, if I want to watch great 300-yard drive, hit it to 35 feet, 2-putt, maybe 1-putt, and every hole. Like, yeah, there's professional tours where I can see that. I need to see a guy try to hit a flop who just is real unconfident he can hit a flop.
Yeah, who might skull it into the bunker where Jared on the other side of the green, you got to be like, Jared, look out. Like this thing actually might come right your way when Fienberg's in a bunker. Like, what are you talking about?
Did Cust come close to hitting you? Because I think he had 3 consecutive shanks, which was pretty funny.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jeff, it is scary, man. Like I was going on the green, like watching the approach shots come in. It was like 160-yard par 3. Oh, when you lose the ball in the air, like you got to rely on the other guys. It's fucking terrifying.
But you also did, like, here's the thing. 160-yard par 3 with good golfers, 98% of those shots are getting skied into the air where they're going to come down like this, not like you're going to catch it or track it like a pop fly. When like Fienberg or Cust is coming in from 170, it does not have that ball flight. I'm hoping it will like hold the green because it's coming in like this, Jared. And if you're on the green, I'd be lucky enough to hit the green, but like that thing isn't going to come with much warning. That thing's coming on like a low line. That's coming in hot. It's not coming in beautifully with spin, I tell you.
I'll tell you who has some good proximity in this video is Rob Pizzola without any of that ball flight. Like dude was topping it. It would hit a hill and just roll to the cup. It was amazing.
Whatever. Pizzola. I've golfed with Pizzola. I've always seen him pull off some magic.
Smooth swinging Pizzola. Good off the tee.
It's got his like, did he wears like weird shirts and weird socks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it is. We were even talking about you because you said you were making fun of him for wearing black shoes with something. And as he pointed out to me,
it was,
I'm the same way. I don't own like 10 pairs of golf shoes. I own 2 pairs, one black, one white, that are just comfortable. Because the other one, I used to have other ones for like fashion purposes and they would just hurt my feet. So I just gave up on that.
Yeah, I think he was I don't know. It's okay. Okay. There's some combos that you don't need to be an aficionado. I'll just leave that one aside.
I am pro wearing what is comfortable, like to make you play better.
I am 100% wear what's comfortable. That doesn't mean like there's just some God, I don't remember what it was. It obviously now should have been so egregious I can remember it. That's okay. I love Rob.
You can subscribe to Fienberg's magazine, Vogue for golf, to really know how to dress on the golf.
No, listen, there's a time in my, like when you first, I'm a dad now. I got 3 kids. My feet, I can't like rotate through the shoes anymore. Like if you're an 11 and a half, I can hook you up because it's not healthy for my feet to change the shoes. You know, I sort of gotta, wear one pair, have the orthotics. So like that whole past life of like having a lot of golf shoes, now they just really collect dust because I'm an old man and I got to take care of my wheel.
Do you have a brand that you go to? Because I've been wearing these Echo shoes and I like them.
Well, so I haven't got, again, since I've just become an old man and consistent. No, I don't have a brand, but yeah, Echo seemed like the best like walking old man golf shoe. My club is, primarily, a lot of old men there. There's they like half the wall is Echoes. So I think they're the best for that, but whatever works. And if you got like the orthotics, you can't really have different shoes. You can't, you're not Hideki traveling with the suitcase.
It's true.
We're just weekend hackers.
Anything else on the Rocket? Anything stand out to you? Were you surprised Cam didn't just put this away? I was kind of Xander made his run to put it away. I feel like he needs something like that to. We see this with top guys all the time where they ebb up and then they flow down for like a year or so. Then they come back. When we go into next year, no one's going to be like, who's going to win a major is Xander. But he'll be one of the 10 guys who will probably win one of the majors from all the top guys. When you're looking at it, he just hasn't been able to. He's actually pulling a Fleetwood in a weird way. He keeps playing like 2.5 really good rounds, had 9 really shitty holes and 1 average round in some of these tournaments. That's just not going to be good enough. But a second place finish, I think, is a nice boost for him. But to have Cam there, the number 3 player in the world, probably the player of the year, just completely stall out on a Sunday was not. I mean, it was nice because I had the guys in front who eventually dropped back, but I figured it would be Cam who came and got them.
Yeah, golf is fickle. But like it only takes a couple for you to lose like you're a freaking killer perception. And it only takes one great Sunday to get back you're a killer from Cam. But that I didn't.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because a bunch of people pointed out to me about various golfers yesterday. It's like these guys all suck. They can't make a clutch putt when it matters. Like there's one guy in every tournament who makes the clutch putt, and it's the guy that wins. That means everyone else is a loser.
Yeah, and
if they made the clutch putts on 16 and 17 on a Sunday, they win the tournament.
I think your comp to like Xander's season is very Fleetwood-esque. Is pretty on point. And I saw an interview with Xander. I think it might have even been after Friday. Or no, it might have even been before the week. The announcer was trying to like glad hand him with you're one of X amount of guys, maybe only 2 with all the top 20s in the majors. But he's like, nah, like I have not had it this year. Like something is just not clicking. We're working hard. And as a show, you can't hit the winners. But I think from a number standpoint, like, Xander finished second. We spoke about it. You almost talked me into it.
You talked me into it. Then you didn't bet it.
Okay, but Xander at like 20-1, like that's his Masters number.
Yeah, I agree.
And even
and
when
you put him into this
Xander is
tournament,
like slump.
Listen, I'll take that Sunday run out. Listen, that Sunday run out happens again. We put everyone in the same spots. Tomorrow, run it out. Xander probably wins.
Xander is and the numbers can't get big because, they derivative off of the placings derivative off that. Although I'd imagine the placings might even get squeezed harder on Xander. The books, there's some people dropping 15 hammers on those successfully and rolling them over into the next major and successfully doing it again. Shout out to D Gord and all of those guys. His wins won't surprise you, but I don't know, man. Something feels so.
It feels stuck, is what it feels like to me.
Something feels
like
so strange there.
Like even remember at the Masters, he was making the run, and then Saturday, just like Fleetwood, he just kind of went away. That's what it's felt like at most of the majors. Like he He gets himself into it very briefly, and then he goes away, and then he stages a little bit of a comeback. At least this time, he had a chance to win this tournament. And I get that it's the Rocket Classic, but sometimes this is what it takes, like to reinvigorate yourself when you don't have those Sundays coming down the stretch. And I think that's one of the issues about, and even one of the points I made about Xander's schedule last week was he hasn't played a non-major or non-signature event since the Valspar when he came in fourth. That's what, 5 months now, 4 months, that sometimes you need to play some of these tournaments to get into the mix, because if you're not doing it in the majors and those big tournaments against all the best guys, when you don't have your best stuff, sometimes you need to drop the field quality a little bit to get those reps back. And then it triggers something, you can get back up.
I don't want to say 2 years without the win because he got the swing season in Japan, what, 2 years ago?
That was, I believe that was this year.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so it's November since he's won.
Yeah, and that one is, it does feel like he's in a bit of a slump, but a lot of guys who should win more feel like they're slumping to a certain degree. Xander getting hot, winning Eastlake. I don't know, surprises no one.
And this would be the kickoff to that, right? Like all of a sudden, like very middling year, a ton of top 20s, no real contention. Come to one of these events, boom, you spike a little bit. And we see this throughout the playoff, like the history of the FedEx Cup playoffs, what have been 16 years now, 17 years, that one or two guys just get hot at the end of the year and make a run and end up winning.
Yeah, now we could go back and it's always pretty decent players. But just for memory serving me correct, does a guy just get hot at the FedEx Cup? Like, for example, Fleetwood was getting hot, even leading into the FedEx Cup last year. The Travelers, it felt like there were so many close calls even before the FedEx Cup. He was very much in form to win the FedEx Cup under the format for which it was. He was informed to win it.
Hovland did that a few years ago too. He was close. One Memorial, kind of trailed off a little bit, then kicked it back up at the playoffs and just rolled the playoffs. We've seen when the very top guy doesn't win, that's usually the winner that we get. We haven't seen a Snedeker, Bill Haas, Billy Horschel type of run in a long time. Yeah, it's usually a top guy who gets a little bit hot and then he can't be stopped. Because Fleetwood should have won St. Jude when I was there last year, and he ended up missing the playoff, and then Rose beat Spawn in a playoff.
Oh, the Travelers, the St. Jude, just a crushing little run before, his 30 hit and giggle. Because I'll always make something about Fleetwood. Him not getting, he didn't get off the mat this year, and it's hard, right? You finish strong late. The season starts when it starts. Couldn't roll it over, and his season was kind of dead fishy.
It was. Do you think a lot of that has to do with the not that the expectations were ever low for him, because everyone always expected him to be really good and compete, but the fact that he finally got the win in America, albeit in a 30-man field against the 30 best guys of the season. So there is something to that, but it felt like, he got that monkey off of his back. This is the year where he levels up and really goes after it. I think he was top 5 in the world rankings. Do you think that pressure had anything to do with it?
I don't know the answer to that, but yeah, he came into the year with like a football team, they didn't, ended season great. Next year's going to be the year where sort of way more things fall into place for them. And he just, nah. And it's hard. I don't know. Golf's tricky. He's got, he lives that Dubai life, but he's playing in those tournaments, right before the PGA season.
Sure. Is Thorbjornsen on the President's Cup team now? We made this big deal about Koivu, and we haven't brought that up. Isn't the logical move to take both of them? If this is the route they want to take for the President's Cup?
Yes, it is the logical move to get the guys who not only have the success, but pass the eyeball test. Get them in there. That is what the President's Cup should be used for at this moment in time. Furyk talks about a continuity being more of like a franchise and a cohesive organization. That's what a cohesive organization would do. That's what they would do. It is not an all-star. It is not like, you had a great season, you got to go to the all-star game. Yes, we've many times said in golf, these team appearances sort of are de facto all-stars things. And that sucks because there's guys who actually have seasons where they're worthy of being on the All-Star team. But no, they don't make sense. They don't make sense. Just because I saw it, we already name dropped him, and I think he's actually joking. Larry made the joke, like if Poston wins this week, he'll have had Memorial, which is arguably like the 6th biggest win on the year, 2 wins. Like, does he get involved in the conversation? And the quick answer is like, no, you're 33 years old. This is not about you. This is not about you. You're not going to Ireland. Unfair. Yeah. But if they want to actually make this thing a cohesive organization that is like that builds off into the next, they have to truly consider using a couple spots, especially now that the PGA Tour U pathway program lets these guys come right in. You see it, you have to strongly sit there and think, we gotta maybe be using 2 spots. We gotta maybe be using 2 spots.
If someone is deserving, and I think that Thorbjornsen with he's had a really good year, and now he has the win to go along with.
And he has the pedigree of like, this is a guy who like might be part of this. Look at those pathway players. We miss you, David Ford. I don't know where you went. He got hurt early. We never saw him again. Yeah, I would think the pathway, if you're a PGA Tour U pathway player, there should almost be like mandatory President's Cup spot reserved for at least 1. And if you want to bring 2, I wouldn't hate it. In 1992, they made the dream team bring a college kid.
Yeah,
Like,
even just to learn what goes into this,
Yeah.
I think is very valuable. We've seen the Europeans do that, and the Europeans don't have those spots to waste, really. And so they need to, when they bring Nikolai or Rasmus, or the year that they brought Ludwig, like that means a lot to the back end of the roster. They need that guy to be good.
If this was a higher level, it's high level. We were there. It was so much fun. But everyone listening will know what I mean. If this was a higher level stakes situation, I would have a different conversation. I would.
Like
I
for
would look at it
example,
differently.
if you nominate someone to be your 12th man, and if you lose, that guy can't play on tour for 2 years, you bring someone good.
Yeah. The President's Cup presents USA Golf with the most amazing opportunity. Right? It's such a great opportunity. And if I was an American, or like if I just love the events, and I've sided with Europe recently, lucky at the bets, whatever. So, but I do consider myself just a neutral, obsessed lover of the Ryder Cup. The USA should be taking full advantage of the opportunity the President's Cup presents them with, and they haven't done that historically. They should. And I don't think that's a hot take. I think most sports fans, golf fans, agree with that. And that sucks. Someone who is going, the Lifetime Achievement Award of that 12th man spot should be for yesteryear. It's not about that anymore.
The President's Cup is no different than when Alabama plays some D2 school team in week 0. That's how they should treat it.
That's what I mean. It's no different than when like the Barcelona junior, like, or they go play somewhere and they, dress some of the juniors or something. I don't know how that fully works, but I know some tournaments or some opportunities, they give the guys who they think are the next levels, opportunities in certain things just to make them a part of it.
Now, there could be a directive coming because this is a PGA Tour owned event versus I have that right, where it's PGA of America for the Ryder Cup. So 2 separate entities that the PGA Tour probably doesn't want to be like, hey, the President's Cup doesn't mean as much as the Ryder Cup. Although it doesn't. Everyone knows this, but they don't want to make it seem that way. They don't want to seem like a D2 event in the eyes of the public, in the eyes of the golf world. There's that added pressure that we never consider with it.
Okay, fine. But you think, like, I'm not trying to be mean. I can't even think of who the 11th guy would be. I don't think the public is like, oh, Thorbjornsen's there instead of
Jacob Bridgman.
This event is B. Like, no, I don't. You're right. They won't admit it in the same way. It's just like sort of it's on NBC. The top players play. That's why, they get paid to play in the way the Ryder Cup players don't, because it is, yes, the Ryder Cup is made for TV, but like the players don't care as much. And you gotta, if NBC's playing X to show it to this B event, you gotta grease the wheel. And that's great for the international players who get to make a lot of money, get the same check as Scotty Scheffler for playing the golf. They can't admit it, but I don't think it matters. The other team, Pat, brings such fucking goobers.
Yeah,
we're gonna worry about the back of the American team making it feel lesser.
Like right now, it's like if you bring Koivu and Thorbjornsen, like they're paired up, their equivalents on the President's Cup team, just by standings, are Nick Taylor and Ryo Hitsatsune. I mean, they could lose that match, but
listen,
they probably won't.
I loved when I heard Furyk make those comments, and he is a former President's Cup captain and Ryder Cup captain. He's done both jobs a lot of guys have. Him at his introductory thing, making the statement that like his desire, and it's difficult because you mentioned they're owned by two different bodies. So it's, to call it the same building from the outside, there's people on the inside, they're like, you don't understand. There's actually way more logistical issues than us trying to be one organization. And there have been rumors, Pat, and this might be great. I don't know if this is good or bad. There have actually been rumors that the PGA Tour, that they have all that money. They didn't spend any of it. They won the war. You got to save for rainy days. There's some talk they're considering making a serious offer to buy the Ryder Cup.
Oh, that would be. I feel like they'd ruin it. Honestly,
probably.
My biggest issue because
they don't own any of the big events.
Well, they own the President's Cup
and the players.
Listen, I think they've done a really good job with the players. My issue is that now that there's private equity involved in the PGA Tour, there's going to be a lot of changes that we don't like. Just whenever private equity gets involved with something that you really like, then there's obviously going to be changes. There's going to be cost cutting. Everything needs to be more macro instead of micro. You see it with podcasts and content networks and sites that you like. This all happens. Whenever it gets bought out, it inherently gets.
You see it with Subway with Jersey Mike sandwiches. It's just,
So we know, like, you have to remember that and keep that in the back of your mind, that one of the fun parts about the Ryder Cup is that it's two separate bodies across an ocean separated, looking for a common goal. There is something that feels very pure about the Ryder Cup, where the President's Cup feels very manufactured in a way, just because it's a lesser style event. It doesn't have the same history. Maybe when you look back in 50 years, it'll be just as important. I doubt it. But the competition level has always been better at the Ryder Cup. And I think that was one of the pushbacks that people had about the American players wanting to get paid for it was, this is supposed to be a pure thing of golf. Like, it's not supposed to be about the money, where if the PGA Tour does buy it, the monetization of it might get a bit out of hand. And it's starting to get that way anyway, but it would just be blown out and it would lose some of the reason why we all like the Ryder Cup to begin with.
So 100%. And we'd argue, just take a look at Bethpage. People would argue the monetization already had jumped the shark. But I think to your main point is one, like the European players can fall back on, we give the money back to European golf to go invest in kids and just the game. And it's a different culture of golf, in Europe. Once it's owned by the PGA Tour, everyone demands to get paid.
Yes.
Like even the guys on Europe who say they'd play for free, once the PGA Tour owns it, and I'm not even talking about the guys who are like on live or something. Everyone, no. You have now taken this into you're right. And maybe we're like naive enough to sort of believe it still kind of exists. But
I mean, these guys aren't doing it for free, even on the European. They're not paying out of their own pocket to play fucking golf. So let's not pretend like they're the most
for their own pocket
people in the world. But they're not demanding a salary at the same time.
And to some of the points that, they acknowledge that they take some of that money and like use it to the team experience. And like they go all out, and even like before and after trips and retreats, all that money in some ways, they get some of, anyhow, we don't need to go into that. But at this moment in time, you'd hope like Furyk might be the perfect person while they're separate entities to find the cohesion. And if like you said, you made the example in other sports of when the other players would get to play. This seems like the perfect in college. yeah, you're not playing the Power 6 school. Like, play the red shirts.
Yeah,
Let's go.
listen, we played 4 games in 5 nights, and we're ending in Denver on this NBA road trip. The top guys are getting a rest tonight. So here's the team. No, here's the team, because you need 6 spots. It's 6 spots, right, for President's Cup, or is it 8?
I don't. I feel like they have different, but I feel like the internationals have more captains, want more captains picks because they want to be able to create the team they want.
Great. Poor Nick Taylor, he's going to get left out again. Somehow he'll have been like one of the most successful international players over the past 6 years and never played in a President's Cup.
Yeah, there's no one on the President's Cup with as many wins as Nick Taylor in the last,
except for maybe
5 years?
Ryan Fox is probably the one.
Ryan would be close. Yeah, Myrtle, Canada, yeah, the big one, yeah.
Yeah, so it's 6 guys from each side get in. So here is the U.S. team, if you're just leaving it to me to pick today with what we just talked about. Scheffler, Cam, Henley, Burns, Griffin, Morikawa are all automatically on the team. Then you go Goddard, Xander, Wyndham, Koiven, Thorbjornsen. That leaves a spot for one more. Let's say Xander.
You said Xander.
All right, then let's say Justin Thomas or whoever. JJ Spawn. Maybe that's where you can put Poston or Bridgman or someone who had a good year. But that's how the team should look. Like, Cantlay isn't in the discussion right now. Unless he wins the FedEx Cup or like just does awesome and gets a win there, he's not on. He can't be on. He has done nothing to be on this team.
I agree, but I just want people to know something. Cantlay should not even be involved in this conversation. He has not performed to his standard.
If this was the Ryder Cup, I think it's a different discussion. But this is not the Ryder Cup. You do not need him. And I do think, almost like Poulter in a weird way, I do think that their Ryder Cup acumen is a bit overblown.
Maybe.
Because they don't have to play the top guys most of the time. And they get to be the second guy on the part of a really good team a lot of the time.
Sure, that's all fair. But I just think most educated golf fans know for a Ryder Cup, Cantlay's leash is going to be longer than the Twitter internet golf fan assumes.
Agreed.
That's the only thing I will do. He has to play his way. If he has this year, next year, he's not on the team. But going into the year, he will be given much more of a head start, or like he will have far more equity with the captains and the decision makers than I think the casual golf fan thinks. That's all I'll say. His position, like he would be a guy you'd almost like. Poulter doesn't need to play in the President's Cup, even if the analogy is like fair. Like, he doesn't even need it. He's not even need it. The state, like, no. You would rather give the Poulter spot to the red shirt. And next year, it's a road game. It's a road game in Ireland. Cantlay will have way more leash than people think. And you better hope, if you're a hater, you better hope he starts cold.
Well, it's going to get to the point, especially when you take a look at the course and just how people have done overseas. I think regardless of how he plays, it's going to be different. I mean, if he sucks, then that's one thing. It's going to be hard to leave Goddard off that team.
I was already thinking that. I didn't know where you were going to go, but it seems like we're crossing the pond. His game travels. He's got all the shapes, all the shots. Him getting to play with a partner and almost at times getting to like freewheel it beside another top 15 player in the world is a very dangerous concept.
Because he was the guy that we pointed to last year that should have been on the Ryder Cup team and wasn't, instead of fucking Harris English.
Yeah. And that's another, listen, he did his thing, but yeah. This is fun. This is exciting. It's, week 3 of football, right? President's Cup.
Oh, that'll be a fun week for content. Probably the biggest week that we'll have content of the year, I bet, in terms of like views, downloads, everything like that. That's always
I'll be listening.
That's always
to
the
Sunday
biggest...
Night Live on my way home from Chargers at Bills.
Yeah, well, that's always the biggest content week for the Pat Mayo Experience and Mayo Media Network throughout the course of the entire season. Is that President's Cup obviously not as big, although the content was last time because we were there covering it. which was helpful to the content, but it also hurt our football content that week. But this time we'll be here doing regular football content along with just the President's Cup show.
You could, a much cheaper trip, you could just send Tim alone to do like food blogs.
Where am I going to send Tim alone to? He needs to have his helper with him.
Sorry, you're right. He travels worse than like my 8-year-old. I don't have an 8. He travels worse than my kids. Like if you left them alone and said, "Get on this plane, get there, someone will help you."
You have to hire someone at the airport. You're like, "Here, sir, you go this way."
Because Tim wouldn't even need one. He would just like want a chaperone at the airport.
Oh, he would love that. If he got to be the guy who got picked up by the cart, the beep, beep, that cart that like takes all the old people around, he would fucking love that.
Yeah, but you don't want to be, listen, we all get there. We're all going to age at a point. Don't you feel bad for like the people in like row 11 on the plane who have to wait for the whole thing to clear out because, well, you're in row 4, so you don't even see these people. Sorry.
Oh, I know. I see them after I've boarded the plane. Although
Yeah.
I was starting to think, what do you
But
think?
they have to wait. They're healthy, but they're just not able-bodied,
Yeah.
and they have to wait for the whole plane to clear out so they can be helped. And you know, it's just we're all gonna get there. We're all gonna get there.
So I had a question about business class or first class or whatever it is that you fly when you fly near the front of the plane. Do you think the move is to get there right when boarding starts to get onto your seat? Because even in business class, there can be situations that arise where people come and take. I've seen people walk by and just put their suitcases up in the business class, then walk to the back of the plane. So if you show up to
Code of conduct.
I agree, but no one is stopping these people from doing it most of the time. So if you have a business class seat, I mean, no one's going to take it on you. So the only thing that you're really concerned about, and as someone who doesn't pack bags and only travels with their like carry-on luggage, I need that space for my carry-on. And if I have to gate check it, then it defeats the entire purpose of doing that. That is it the move to get there and be the first person on the plane, or be the last person on the plane and just gamble that there's enough headspace? Because that would be the move. If there was guaranteed headspace, you wouldn't have to show up until like a minute before the flight leaves. Just walk right on. Who cares?
Usually, I mean, to my understanding, like first class is pretty. It gets full up to the top there.
Well, there's a difference between first class and business class that I
Okay,
think
yeah.
that people forget about.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
most-
you're right.
most
They've-
planes
they
that you
sort of
fly-
created a new tier to, you know,
Like most
you know.
most planes don't have a first class section on them. Like if you
'Cause
fly Emirates Air, they do. If you fly
Sure.
American Airlines, you don't.
I mean, this is like I don't know how I heard this, but I ended up on some like Andy Cohen rant, and he was talking about flying first class and how the lady, I don't know, he had a backpack in his suit bag, and the lady made him like consolidate, and he gets to first class. He's like, "Oh, there's so much room." He like, "Why are you making me do that, you insane woman?" So I don't know. I assume like business class, first class, you're not fighting for storage space. But I could be wrong.
It fills up, not all the time, but I've been on it where it has filled up. It's like, oh, Jesus.
The problem with
You-
going
but,
like,
but you
okay,
hold on, but you also get into a situation where most people who fly in business class or first class are far more entitled passengers because they've paid more than the rest of the plane. That if you have one carry-out, so almost to what Andy Cohen was saying, that they made him compact everything. Other people are like, you know, you're not supposed to put your backpack up. You're supposed to put that underneath your seat. People in business class, just like they're throwing jackets, suitcases. I mean, that's probably how it fills up so quickly too. That they're putting stuff up there that they're not supposed to put up there.
I actually find the most entitled people on flights these days are the people who spend like $40 for like extra feet, which is like awesome. Do that. You're entitled. Like that is your prerogative. But like, they get on the plane. They think like they've bought business class
For
or
what people?
something.
What people?
You can, again, something you're probably not familiar with.
Yeah, this is Pat and Jeff's
When you're
out of
looking at
touch
the
rant.
back of the plane to pick a seat, there are seats with like extra leg room.
Oh yeah. So most of the time when I travel, I will go to the exit row section instead of getting like that. That's really the optimal spot for travel because
Well, of course. And like any time, listen, I've had some people pay for flights before for work. And when they're not going to pay for first class, but they'll pay for like the bag, that they can pay for it. I'll take the extra leg room. But the biggest problem with your first suggestion here, Pat, is under normal situations, it would be to come in near the end. The problem is your like privilege of first class, everyone else trying to get into the plane, like you should have a dedicated lane to walk on the plane. It doesn't matter what time you show up. But once you show up past a certain point, people are not in like a proper line formation, and they're going into like your A, B tier line.
No, that's not true, though. If you have one of the zones ahead of the zones that are boarding, you can just walk up to the front.
Okay, sure. But you understand there's like no...
I agree.
Then you're still in like the cattle to get on the plane.
Yeah, the European airports have this figured out much better because they board from the front and back, which is very helpful and makes it faster, which everyone should just want. Anyway, we should probably get back to golf.
Yeah, we can get. I don't know where we got there. It was President's Cup.
I
suggest
it is August. We're having fun with the show. I appreciate anyone who still listens to the show in August. And numbers have weirdly been going back up in August, which Apple had a counting error, so I was like getting really panicked that no one listened to the show anymore. And then they sent me an email that like, oh yeah, we forgot to count like 3 weeks worth of downloads. Like, oh.
What the hell?
Like, everyone just, dude, what was said that everyone immediately tuned out to the show? There was such a dramatic drop off that it was like, okay, this feels like some sort of error somewhere. So they have fixed that, and the advertiser check came back in for the up numbers, not the down numbers, which was nice. It's scaring me. My livelihood's over, Geoff.
No, we're good.
Wyndham Classic coming up right after this. Buying a car is a big deal, and the last thing you want to do is spend endless hours clicking through filters only to come up empty. That's why I like CarGurus. You can actually describe what you're looking for in your own words. Say you want something that's reliable, good on gas, with low mileage, and under 20 grand. Just type that in, and Guru instantly shows you real available listings that match what you need. And once you've found a few options, CarGurus makes it easy to compare them side by side. With more than 4 million listings, CarGurus has the biggest selection of cars, so it's easier than ever to find the right car and the right deal for you. They also offer more transparent pricing, letting you see when dealer fees are included so you can compare listings with greater confidence. It's no wonder CarGurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site according to SimilarWeb's estimated traffic data. Huh? Buy or sell your car today at CarGurus.com. That's CARGURUS.com. Summer's almost over, and I'm looking into next year, trying to figure out what block of the schedule can I take a vacation, and then whether or not I can actually afford it. That's why I like having everything organized ahead of time. When I know exactly where my money's going, I can book a trip, enjoy the winter, enjoy the summer, just not stress about my finances afterwards. Monarch is the personal finance app that tracks everything: accounts, investments, saving goals, and most importantly, spending, or at least for me, it's the spending. Get your first year of Monarch Core half off, just $50 with promo code PATMAYO. That's me. What I like most about Monarch is the monitoring it does for me. The AI weekly recap flags spending spikes before they become habits, and the cash flow view makes it really easy to see where my money's actually going each month. It's nowhere good, I'll tell you that. It's basically like having a financial advisor in your pocket, which I appreciate because my old financial advisor, very expensive and not very good. Use code PATMAYO at Monarch.com to get your first year of Monarch Core half off, just $50. That's 50% off your first year at Monarch.com with code PATMAYO. I believe I just called it the Wyndham Classic. It is not. It's the Wyndham Championship. All the odds that we're using are provided by CoolBet.com. If you're in Canada, use CoolBet.com. Get the bonus down in the description right now. Code Mayo and Underdog as well if you just want to play on Underdog, especially the prediction market. Oh yeah, that's the other show that I did with Pizzola. We broke down prediction markets and how to use them if you've never used them before, which I think was helpful for people. I think if you're not used to them, you can be somewhat intimidating.
Yeah, like sometimes I Google, what does this percent mean in terms of odds?
Sometimes, well, in certain markets, you can just switch them to odds if you want to.
I should.
And well, the biggest thing, especially as it pertains to golf, as was pointed out to me, and I hadn't really considered it, and you need a more liquid market to do it. But someone asked me, they had, I think they had Brennan or something like that, or they had Riley. They're like, well, I need to hedge out. It's like, I was just going to hedge like on Xander, Cam, and like one other guy. It's like, there's like 8 years. I think there was like 20 guys within 5 shots of the lead, and there'd been a 61 shot each of the previous 3 days. Like, anyone can shoot that 61 that might not be those 3 guys. Then you lose like triple your money. So be careful.
Yeah, I guess. And I guess on the PM,
you can bet no to the guy.
Yeah,
winning.
you could just bet, will this guy win? No. Yeah.
And
listen, the PMs, if you have access to them, like, you should just treat them as just another market.
Yeah, just another
like another place.
Yeah, people have books that they open to shop for the best numbers. That should just be something that you do. Like, especially if you're concerned about hedging. I never really am. If it gets to a playoff, maybe. But before a playoff or a like clear 1v1 scenario, hedging does not enter my mind. I'm trying to listen, we win so few that you need those wins to really carry you through.
The thing about betting, just quickly, and maybe I'm wrong, and it's like that small select people, Robin the ilk, and don't get me wrong, if like I can get 4 cents better, but I don't have money in that book, it's not hard. Like, it's 3 clicks I can put money in, but I'm a wreck. I'm a wreck. I'm not gonna bet enough. But in life, like, you see when the price of gas, drops a little, like, there's lines. When it's free slushy or ice cream day, lines out the door. People care, for good reason. People care about a couple bucks, except Cust at the grocery store. He's established he doesn't even look. He doesn't want
to know. He doesn't want to know the prices.
That being said, you would think at some point, like, as gambling becomes like, it's pretty mainstream, people ask me about it who certainly weren't asking me about it like years ago, ever. It's just in people's faces. But you would think like gamblers would just be aware consumers like you are for anything in life.
True. But it's a different method of delivering that, like prediction markets versus like your standard sports book. Although once you get on there, you're like, okay, this is basically like the same thing. So you can figure that out. Underdog prediction market, by the way, code Mayo, get yourself a bonus. Oh, another thing. I really like this shirt and how it fits, especially on the golf course. Here's what I don't like about it. This button's too high. This button needs to be a bit lower because I feel like I got big like Sia, Bubba Watson vibes wearing it.
Sia. Yeah.
Can you do up the top button?
I can, but then I look really ridiculous.
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, why is it so high?
I don't know why it's so high. Like
that
now
is strange.
I'm seeing Najad Sportsline. Let me give you some picks.
Well, listen, Sia's always looks sharp. He's always sharp.
Sia's a good-looking man. So
good-looking man.
In my younger smoking days, before you quit smoking, you chunk up a little bit. My former days, I used to tell Cust, I was like, I can wear anything I want. It's going to look good on me because I look good. Like when you look good, you can wear whatever you want.
Yeah, when you look good, you're well put together. Sia never got a hair out of place. Like, always on point. Always on point. He pulls off that look without a. But you said that, I was like, yeah, that's his look. Yeah. Good for him.
So the top odds, Cam Young coming off a T8 performance in Detroit is the betting favorite at Coolbet. He is 9-1. Cantlay is 18-1. Oh, what an hour we'll do. Koiven opened at 25-1, Jeff. He is currently 18-1, tied with Cantlay now in real time as I look at it on the screen. Hideki has plummeted from 33 to 20-1. And then you got Justin Thomas at 25, Ryan Gerard at 28, along with Tom Kim, Ben Griffin. Then you got Rye as the only other guy below 40-1. He's at 35 right now. Obviously, some of these prices will be off market. Some will be on market. You can shop around for better numbers, as we just spoke about. But that's what Coolbet's putting out right now. So the big movers so far, Koiven and Hideki, have been just bet to shit. And that's not just here. I'm looking at other places now, too.
I mean, sure. It adds up. Baroff is going for 5 in a row here.
Oh, fuck Baroff. Fuck him.
He posted his thing. And I noticed I'm going for 3 in a row because I had a Rye. And then last year, as I was at Hall of Fame weekend for Antonio Gates, got to celebrate Cam Young's win with fellow Demon Deacon, John Spanos, and meet Phillip Rivers. So that was a great day. That was a great day. Cam's win is a part of that great memory.
I bet one of these guys so far. I've made 3 bets, and one of them is in this range.
You want to know something? On my Wyndham card last year, had 2 of the 3 favorites. I had Cam and I had Jackson Koivin.
Oh.
And Cam, just to say, it was a bit of a struggle bus last year. Obviously, if he was 60, 70, above 50 to 1, certainly to win the Wyndham last year, kind of puts into perspective. Not only was he like the bloom was off, right? Like a full stink was on for him, but he had always shown up really well at like short courses.
Yes.
At shorter courses where you would think like the profile would not play here. He had incredible track records, like would shoot like a 60 at River Highlands. And that was a big part of my calculus. Like, no. He likes these sorts of places.
There's been a few guys like that over the years that you just consider to be. I mean, Michael Brennan weirdly has become one of those guys. He showed out at Colonial. Pot Geeter is another one that obviously it's not going to be every single short course where they do well, but you'd think that their big skill gets a bit overmatched here because Sedgefield is one of the very few courses on tour where distance legitimately doesn't matter.
And I historically will, and you'll probably see it today unless I sucker into a couple guys. I am playing the shot makers. Cam was like an outlier for the most part, but I have obviously made the link that he does handle these courses incredibly well. This is a good opportunity for him. I will historically have a card full of Aaron Rise, Tom Kims, Ben Griffin. I mean, I'm not betting them all this week. That is the guy. I'm looking for those guys and poor man's versions of those guys.
Well,
obviously your Brennans, Cam, Justin Thomas's, they're all so good that like if they have their A game, they can dummy a place even without their best clubs. I'll take that risk. I'm more looking at, a plotter, an Oren, for lack of an example.
Yeah, I bet Tom Kim at 35 to 1. I missed the 40s at Open. I took the 35. The only reason that he didn't do great at the 3M is because he couldn't putt. And that's the thing with Tom Kim is that sometimes he doesn't putt, but the rest of the game is still firing just as much as it was 6 weeks ago when he ended up winning, or I guess a month ago when he ended up winning. The driving's accurate. It's not great, but it's accurate. That's what we're looking for. The irons are awesome. The chipping is awesome. Can he putt? Well, he once gained like 14 strokes putting at this tournament and won it before. So Tom Kim for me.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Could use like Brian Harmon in your one and done and feel good about it this week.
For sure.
Okay, like Tom Kim, obviously swum around that. Even a little shorter, and maybe it's because I bet him next week. I haven't bet it. And I'm not surprised, but like Gerard at 30, it's just going to be a tough pill to swallow.
It's not really all that different than what he was last week. And
I got a 45.
Sure, I'm sure if no one bets him right now, but like at Open, he was a little bit better than that. I guess my one thing about Gerard was he was like okay tee to green last week, and he's become the anti-Gerard. And maybe this is a good thing that he's spiking with his putter at the moment, and the rest of his game, which he's usually so good at, has really faltered. This course seems very good for him simply because he's one of those not long, accurate players who's great with his irons and is somehow just spiking up the putting board right now that maybe it all meshes at the same time. Like almost what I mentioned about Brennan earlier, that if he had just showed up with not even his regular driving prowess, 50% of his regular driving prowess, he wins last week, and it was so bad, that's the reason that he ended up losing. That with Gerard, if he just gets all of his regular stuff back to baseline and continues this hot putter, he wins.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's not enough good players here where I shouldn't feel like scared of the top. I just don't know if I want to bet Gerard 30 to win. I'm tempted though. I'm tempted. And if I can't make other decisions, we shall see. But at the moment, like I'm expecting a card that like flirts starting at 40.
Between the two, why do you like Gerard over someone like Tom Kim?
I like Tom Kim a lot. I'm just all you had spoken about it. He won a couple weeks ago. I don't think I need to like sell that. I think if anything, Tom Kim is way more fairly priced than Ryan Gerard. I'm not one of these people. I think there've been a lot of people who like bet Gerard a lot and either like are tired or feel like, we've been on this ride a lot. I think last week was the first time I bet him this year. So I feel like pretty fresh. And Saturday didn't go his way, and he got a bit of a bogey train late on Friday, which was annoying right when he got into the lead. But I thought, played pretty good. Got dummied by Davis Riley in the 2-ball on Saturday. It was a bit surprising, but yeah.
Well, I mean, you can boil this tournament down to you need to be accurate. You can do the thing where you gain a bunch with your driver or whatever you're doing off the tee and propel yourself that way. I think that's a more difficult way to take advantage of this course and not the types of players that you talked about that we've seen. You want to be approach and putting and mix that in with some chipping because chipping is important here. Especially, I was there 2 years ago. That was the year that they had the big rainfall the day before and stuff. Like if you missed the fairway, you were absolutely cooked because you much like a lot of the guys were on Sunday at the Rocket after it rained. That thick rough is one thing. When it's dry out, you can get your club through it. When it gets a bit wet, you ain't getting shit through there. And that's what happened at the Wyndham, and they do grow out the rough a little bit more. Shout out to the government of North Carolina as well, who said that they are going to invest in the Wyndham Championship. I think put up like $30 million or something like that over a period of time to lure a sponsor to make the Wyndham Championship one of the championship series events. Like
Great.
to hear that.
You like to see that. That's awesome.
But guys that crushed on approach last week that maybe you don't think of. Well, Akshay's not in the field, right? Akshay's not.
Cantley's 22-1.
Brian Campbell's what?
You asked me what his odds are?
Yeah, Brian Campbell is 400-1. He led in approach last week.
Yeah, I don't care.
I mean, he's a
thank you for the info.
He's a
People can do it that.
He won twice on tour last year, and he's been hurt for like 4 months and just coming back now. All of a sudden, almost gains 10 strokes on a like. This is a Brian Campbell course if there ever was one. What do you need to do? Oh, drive it 250 yards in the fairway, hit some wedges, and make some putts. Like that's his only path to winning.
I agree.
First round
If
leader.
Campbell's, this should set up well. I'm not betting. I'm not betting on Brian.
So Campbell, Hideki, Akshay, Cantlay, Grillo were the top 5 in approach. Keegan was next on that list. Kuchar was just after that, and then Xander. And then a couple guys that you wouldn't expect because they missed the cut and just didn't do anything else well. But like on a per round basis, Yella Miraju was really good on approach last week. And you consider where he had played well. I believe he had a really shit start at the Heritage round 1, then had 3 awesome days. He top 10'd at the Players Championship this year. Players and Harbour Town are the 2 courses, maybe along with Colonial as well, which just have all the crossover success with Wyndham. Cam became like the 6th guy to win the Wyndham and the Players Championship in the past 15 years.
I don't know. A couple things you said make me think maybe we should be looking at Grillo.
I think everyone's been kind of looking at him over the past few weeks. He's been playing some pretty decent golf.
Yeah, was it last week? I guess I bet him recently 110. He played fine. Oh yeah, he was out late. Yeah, he wasn't even going to beat Jackson. It was like one of those. Okay.
He's 80,
I think
he's 80
I
to
should
1 this
remain
week.
looking. Sorry, I should remain looking at Grillo, and. Don't think I'm gonna bet it, but your boy Michael Kim 90-1.
I thought those were weird odds for him.
Yeah, pretty high. Like, why is Graysterman or Hitsetsune shorter than him?
Probably due to course history. I'm guessing. I don't know what MK's. Wasn't it hilarious that he ended up getting paired with Siwoo in the final group after the story of the week?
Oh, incredible.
Let's see, Wyndham Championship. It feels like a course that should be good for him. He had the draw working. They enjoy anytime someone hits a draw, because I guess so few players hit draws anymore that the announcers have to talk about it. Do you know Chris Kirk really enjoys to move the ball right to left? If you didn't know, I know now because I watch all of his shots and I'm familiar with Chris Kirk. But you could not leave that broadcast on Sunday without knowing that he much prefers. Does he have the smoothest swing on tour? It looks like he barely hits the ball.
Yeah.
When he swings, I always think it's a warm-up swing.
I mean, it's a motion I would give a testicle for.
Oh yeah. Maybe we should be looking at Chris Kirk as well. Michael Kim was 5th at the Wyndham Championship 3 years ago. He had a WD and a T62 last year. Has never putted well on these greens, for what it's worth.
Just thought that number seemed high relative to like every week, especially like, I don't know.
So there was a couple guys down the board that I thought were interesting and seemed mispriced versus what I would have expected coming into the week. Bud Colley and Seb Straka being at the very top of that list, along with Nick Taylor, Jackson Suber. I don't get why they're so far down. Like Bud Colley, I see Bud Colley at 66 here. He was 80 or 90 when I looked this morning. But like, yeah, I get that. I don't know. Rasmus Højgaard is coming off a good week. And Bud Colley just won in Canada. This is a perfect type of course for him. You know, be great with your wedges, know how to chip and hit some fairways at the Bud Colley Classic.
Yeah, Bud Colley is a bit of a poor man's version of like some of the players you will have to bet 30-1 for.
Isn't Nick Taylor kind of the same guy too?
A bit. I mean, Taylor is just, yeah, I don't know. He's a spike winner, so you know you get that when you bet Nick Taylor. I hadn't really thought about Suber for this one.
So, I don't know if this is a great super course based on what he does because he just can't putt, and putting is, listen, you can be like Cam Young and just decide that, oh, all of a sudden I'm a good putter now at this tournament and win it. If Aaron Rai found the flat stick at this course and ended up winning. So bad putters can obviously do that. Suber's putting has been better, honestly. Not so much the past 2 weeks, but it had been on a pretty good run. The approach play had been really good. I do think that he uses his off-the-tee acumen a lot to get himself ahead. He did that in Canada. He did that at the Open Championship for a bit until it really went awry. And he did that at the John Deere Classic when he had a good finish. But it does feel like, in a way, Suber's run is over. And I don't know what his actual level of player is. I think we have a pretty good sense of what Bud Colley is at this point, that he is a better than average player who has a very particular set of skills. And I think those translate well to here.
Yeah, I would think there's a few guys maybe in that 60 range that you could make like a fair case for. I'd mentioned Harman earlier, Wallace, Noren. I think a lot of guys like can get around this place quite well. You know, if you're into the Eric Colkane, he's, you know, that's just something that people see people being interested in this week. What has Noren been up to lately?
Nothing, I assume.
Yeah, probably.
Probably a bunch of T42s.
Ben James 80-1.
Yeah, well, do we? So I bet Luke Clanton at 125-1 with 8 places, simply because Koiven won. That inspired Thorbjornsen to win. Clanton's had like 2 good weeks in a row. He's been like lingering around leaderboards. That maybe just this is the time. It all comes back together for him. I think he's had previous success here. Let's see. Noren was T18 at the Open. Before that, cut, T55, cut.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably a sucker, but I don't mind a couple of Wallace or Noren here. Or Harman.
Harman, I could probably get behind a little bit more. What has he been up to? Was he came second at the at 3M, didn't he? Or around there. T3.
And he had a decent no, it wasn't the Open.
He has no top 20s on the year until you date back to the Players' Championship. Has not been a great Wyndham player over the years, in fairness. He has 1 top 10 and 8 starts.
Surprised by that. I like just see that's where my perception is just wrong. It seemed like he's a lovely little guy for this property.
One name that we didn't mention, who I was betting earlier on in the season, I don't know if he can make enough.
Alex Fitzpatrick.
That is the name. Yeah, can he make enough putts?
He's another. He might be worth trusting this week blindly. Is that crazy?
I don't know. Listen, it's not like he was a prolific winner in Europe. Like he's had the best 3, like winning with his brother at the Zurich kicked off what was essentially the best 3-month stretch he's ever had in his career. And if I say that with Suber, like, hey, I don't know what his overall actual like level is, that maybe he peaked a little bit.
Okay.
And we see this with guys. Maybe that happened to Alex Fitzpatrick.
Okay, let me just make this point, and maybe you'll have it in front of me where you can counter it or tell me I'm wrong. His win sort of came at like the perfect time of the year because it was sort of at the beginning of this like nonstop run of elevateds, and we'd play majors and only have like big fields and elevateds, and he won his way into them. And in some of these overperformed or like cleared expectation cash prop bets. Has he played in any of the shitty fields?
No, he has not. So the only shitty field that he played, the only non-major, non-signature that he played was the Scottish, which was essentially a signature event.
So that would just be a counter. Like, this guy has just been in this whirlwind of, for lack of a better term, elevated fields, because the schedule's so bunched and he played well. He could afford to take week off. You know, I don't know. Nice little breather. Like, I haven't bet him yet. And I don't know that 50 is a big enough number for me to say, like, I'd blindly do it either. But I'm tempted.
Yeah, I would rather him over someone like Noren at like a comparable price range. I forgot Spieth was playing. That's fun. I watched him for.
I'm not betting it.
I watched his 9 on Sunday, and I watched a bunch of them on Saturday. I gotta say, he's still the most fun guy to watch. There will always be that appeal to him that you're like, you talked about you earlier, standing over the ball, not knowing where it's going. Exactly how I feel watching Spieth.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It could be to an inch or off the property.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I see. I saw a tweet. I guess Ron Kloss, BetSpert's team, rabbit hole, crush it. Detroit is his big week. Sad to see it go. You wish there was like a Ron or someone doing what, you know, Ron does every week on the PGA Tour at a site. But he had what like sort of felt like a depressing video watching Spieth go through the drivers, and it's on the range. And I mean, listen, every golfer does this. Maybe they're not doing it on property, but a lot of them even are doing it on property. But like, I don't know, seeing him like lamenting over the struggles, it's tough. And then you read the comments, and a lot of them, Pat, and it's relatable. But like, it's obvious his like greatness are certain people who are now like 20 years old. If you were like 10, 20, like, he was their first memory of pro golf.
And they talked about that with Brennan, how he looked up to Ricky Fowler and then ended up in a group with him. It's like, oh God, we're really
it's crazy to think like they're of an age. Like, if you were 12, 8, if you're 10 years old when we started doing our podcast, it's a lot of people. Like, well, in and around that age, like, yeah, those are the people. Like, those are your first memories of pro golf.
You know who my son loves? Is Ryan Fox, because he watched all that day with the Open Championship with me. He just wants to hit it like Ryan Fox. It's like, if you could hit it like Ryan Fox, son, you're going to be okay.
You can hit it like Ryan Fox.
I took him out to we have a executive course, like a par 3, along with our championship 18. So I took him, that's generally what people do, is like the shitty golf, like the really shitty, like intro golfers, and people bring their kids up to it. Played 9 holes with him. He was fired up.
That's awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Although it got a bit taxing towards the end.
Yeah, sure. Whatever. You build up to it.
But Jared, after we did the filming on Wednesday night, we went into the clubhouse and had dinner afterwards and everything like that. And the guy who's my golf coach, he's a scratch and things like that. He had some words for Jordan Spieth, didn't he? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. Said he changed his swing?
Yeah, when he changed his swing, and he was just like, yeah, give him 30 minutes with me and just like, talk him back into the old swing that he had, which wasn't hurting his body, and all of a sudden he'd be fine.
If I one day, when I'm just old and retired and want to feel smart, I'll like pay for someone to go through your archives and find like the smartest calls I made. And the first thing I would say is like, go find my original Spieth crash takes. And it started, Pat, with the swing change. And this was probably a mean thing to say at the time. And I don't even know if I meant it when I said it, but I was sick and tired of losing money to him, of DJ losing to him, of him fucking magic beansing everything. I said, he is not talented enough to overcome the swing change. It just felt like he achieved so much more than like his baseline talent in a way where like guys, I don't know, like a DJ is just like so much more naturally gifted in ways. You can argue that with me. I'll die on the hill. That he will never recover from it in a way like truly, truly elite golfers like a Tiger can fuck around with that swing and finally come out the other side of it.
Well, most guys change their swing because it's affecting their body changes, or someone like Tiger just simply could not continue to swing like he did without destroying his body. And he changed his swing a bunch of times.
But even Tiger after, like, before he went to the violent swing.
Yeah, well, he changed his swing right before 2000.
Yeah,
Then he had to change it again because it was destroying his body because it was too good. Too violent of a swing.
But yeah, it sucks to see. I love Jordan. Like, Jordan.
I know, but I like this version of Jordan better because he's not taking my money ever. It's great.
And the win, this is going to feel stupid because he's so much more accomplished than Fowler. But you remember how you won money on it? I didn't. When Fowler finally won Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
Like when Spieth finally, like when Spieth breaks through again, even if it's just for 1 week, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. The whole golf world will like rally around it. It's going to be awesome.
I weirdly hope it's at a major. It would be fun to see Jordan Spieth win, like have one win in 5 years, but it's like a PGA championship to finish the Grand Slam. It's like, what is happening?
Yeah, I guess we'd argue far more likely Masters or the Open, but
Yes.
I
mean, it's far more likely it's going to be Corrales Punta Cana than a major, but
and there's no way, like even when we saw when Tiger's out with back injuries, DL3 is winning the Wyndham. I'm like, Tiger's at home. Seeing DL3 win is like confidence for Tiger. I have no, like Jordan Spieth he's gonna clip one of these suckers again. And I don't think that's a hot take. He's 50-1 this week to be like, guy's gonna get another win in his career. But I don't know. I agree. This Jordan version of Jordan, very easy to root for, as long as when he wins, the guy I bet on doesn't come in second. But that would be a perfect fit. That would be a full circle moment. If Jordan Spieth's one moment of brilliance, we hit second place.
it could be this week. And that would be a great run for the PGA going into the playoffs. I'm very curious to see what the ratings were for the Rocket Classic, because the 3M ratings were through the roof with the Koiven runaway. People were just very interested in Jackson Koiven and what this was all about, it seemed, and Scheffler coming down. I don't know if it's going to be the same hit like Thorbjornsen, but that was a very exciting, if nothing else, very close Sunday where guys had to separate. And if people got enamored by it, or if they just weren't familiar with Thorbjornsen, they watched those drives on 17 and 18 and be like, holy shit. Who is this guy? This guy looks like he's going to win major championships. That there's some sort of thing with that if this week all of a sudden Spieth wins, people are like, oh, this pure theater, what we need for the dummy season of the PGA Tour.
We didn't talk about it earlier, and I mentioned I had blackout, so I a loss of power. So I didn't get to see a lot of the TV broadcasts, and even the last hour I was driving home listening on the radio. The radio was like, mention the caddy like 10 times. Did the broadcast of Morikawa's former caddy, JJ?
They brought it up a few times, but I really enjoyed Brennan's caddy, who looked like my buddy Gator, who works for Underdog. But if Gator like ate ice cream for 3 straight months, he would look just like that guy. Like the man bun, it's all there.
Brennan's caddy. I liked after Brendan hit the ball OB, he had a conversation with the caddy, and as he almost did it again.
Well, there was one where he backed off this wedge shot because it was like by a drainage pipe. He's like, I just can't visualize it. Then he stepped in and hit just another terrible wedge shot. 40
feet.
Yeah,
40 feet, right. And Riley and Højgaard hit it to like 8 or 10 feet, both of them. They're like 5 yards inside him.
So so what do you make of Brennan this week? Like, dude is playing really good golf. Like, he's been in the mix each of the past 2 Sundays. He just had shit Sundays.
I don't know. I'd really have to like look back at the short course stuff to see, because this is, I don't know how to put it, but you know,
I would say that his around the green sucks too much at a place where around the green tends to be overemphasized. That would be my one pushback. But you know when you don't need a short game? When you hit every green, which he was doing for most of the week.
Yeah, and honestly, those are that's the type of guy I want to bet.
Yeah, he was 6th at the Schwab, which is like really the last short course that he played.
Like a lot of the 60s, even Davis Thompson's coming around a bit.
Well, he's a generational flusher. How could he ever be off?
Yeah, and this is the flusher course.
Nah, I don't feel like maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't feel like
you're right.
It's not a his type of flusher course. Like he is all ball striking. No, like you need to, it's not just enough because driving is so important to Davis Thompson when it gets going. And again, not that driving isn't important this week, but if you can't chip, you got real problems here. So I see this more as those like flat tee to green guys. Like Aaron Rai is the perfect example that he's not long off the tee, but he gains strokes off the tee with accuracy. He's a great iron player, and generally he's great around the green. Tom Kim is exactly the same. He's not even great off the tee. He's just accurate off the tee. Over the past 2 months, first on approach, 10th around the green, 50th in putting. That's the formula for you right there.
I don't know.
Like other guys, like Ben Coles is a perfect fit this week if he could chip, but he can't.
I don't know. Part of me is trying to prepare for the moment you say quick picks and be ready. And at the moment, like my team feels like it's gonna be like very no name branded.
Do we just
Like Mac might I don't know, just fucking.
I think Meisner was like third here last year. How about this?
He's 50 this year, yeah.
Yeah, but I think
Oh, sorry, third. Sorry,
I think he tied for third last year, or tied for fifth or something. Chris Kirk. This feels like a very Chris Kirky course. He has not gained strokes on putting. Once this year at the American Express. It's the only tournament he's gained strokes in this year on the greens. But the approach play has been off the charts good, and he's a very accurate driver.
So this is what I would say about Chris Kirk. And this is sometimes maybe it'd be better if he wins this week. I'd be like, if only the moments I walked inside to watch golf were like 5 minutes earlier, 5 minutes later. But in the same way, it's like, oh, Lucas Glover's like playing great. He's playing great a lot. Yeah, I watched the golf tournaments. He cannot hit like a 6-footer for his life. For his life. I'd rather just box score it like Cantlay. You see that, and it's like, yeah, I know putting is fickle, but it's like every time I came inside, Chris Kirk, an insane approach shot, misses a putt, does not even like touch the hole. It's hard for me to want to bet, but the data would say probably give that a chance again.
Chandler Phillips is probably someone to look at. He had a bad week at the Rocket, but had been kind of trending T15, 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 T3 before that. Just had a very bad putting week, bad approach week for like his standards. He's generally very good on the greens. I mentioned Clanton earlier as someone I've already bet. He was the first click that I made. Like Brooks is playing in this field. Blades Brown gagged away a win on the Corn Ferry Tour last week, missed the playoff by 1, but he just continues to be good. Like, isn't he exactly the type of shot maker / putter that you would be looking for here?
Yeah, he continues to be good. He does.
I don't love 50 to 1, but I might be able to.
Yeah,
get there.
and like, okay, so that's the question. And usually when I get into this predicament, I default to like the young guy with the unknown. But it's like Blades Brown or Matt Wallace.
I would rather bet Blades Brown. I think he has a better chance to win than Matt Wallace does.
That's my point. Usually I always just end up, I kind of know, like, yes, Matt Wallace can win. I know what Matt Wallace is. I get excited to bet on like, yeah, I know what we know about Blades Brown, but like there's an unknown. Ben James,
Ben James had it going. He was in the mix going into Sunday. Like he could have been the guy with the Thorbjornsen round. He was right there and then just sucked.
So yeah. Ben James 80 to 1. I'll probably go back. I've bet him 2 weeks in a row now. Probably go back to that. I don't think I can get on. I just wanted to look at it. I thought Wallace played much better at the Open than he finished, but I can lose track on a Sunday.
Well, it's not necessarily that you lose track of some of these guys. Is that the only reason that you just thought that they were doing well in the first place is because you saw them start to sniff somewhere around the leaderboard with one huge shot, maybe, and then you end up seeing like 2 shots of theirs because they got back into contention for a bit, and then you just lose track of them because you never cared anyway.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, he got to like the top of the second page of the leaderboard.
Yeah, and they showed him hole out like a chip-in eagle or something. It's like, well, that happened to him yesterday on the broadcast. Like, oh, let's go up to 14 where Matt Wallace makes a 70-foot eagle putt. He's the second eagle of the day at 14, and you've never heard from him again.
Did he play well, or did you like bet him to make the cut and he made the cut? So he like played well for you.
Yeah, for you, it worked out. You know who's not playing well is Harris English.
Not playing well.
Who again, when you talked about the prototype for this course, Harris English, kind of the prototype. Now, last time
Yeah,
I said
think
that on
him
the
and Ben
show,
Cole-
I said it about JT Poston, and he won. So maybe Harris English just wins.
Poston's been like horrible since he won, eh?
That's-
And he was horrible
He
before
was
he
horrible
won.
before it. It would have been like if Davis Riley won on the weekend.
Okay. So I just have to ask. Does Marco Pange have like a shorter game profile at all that he can excel at, or he's just like he just crushes the ball?
So
Like,
did you
that's-
happen to see his stats from last week?
Nope, but I bet him last week. So you
So
could tell.
he was one of the leaders. He gained almost 6 strokes off the tee. Drove the ball immaculately. The approach play was The around the green was good. He lost 6.5 strokes putting.
Oy, shit.
So he was
played
there.
quite good. Yeah.
So that's a T18 at the
But
Open.
it's the wrong course.
I honestly, I don't know enough. Basically because he came out of nowhere too, right?
I guess like he could hit his 3-wood. He could club down and still be great.
Yeah, why not? Why
I'd
not?
have to ask Sky. Sky, I'll have to ask him.
He won the Open d'Espagne last year. I have no idea what that course is. He won the Danish Golf Championship. No idea.
Last year felt like he was contending every week.
Yeah,
In Europe.
It did feel like it didn't matter the course, that he would just show up. But his T45 last week in Detroit is somewhat masked by the worst putting performance of the week, outside of Aaron Wise, who actually did have the worst. He lost 4 strokes around on the green.
And do we think Brooks is playing? Does it matter?
Well, he's not in the playoffs
'Cause
right
it's
now.
his season finale if he plays.
It would be, or his season finale was the
Brooks
Open.
is going to be. Brooks gets to play on NFL Sundays this year.
Is he not allowed in the playoffs? Or is he just not allowed to collect the money if he wins the FedEx Cup?
I think he's allowed in the playoffs. He wouldn't be allowed the bonus pool money. So
Okay.
he would be allowed to, like, if he came 40th, he would get his check for finishing 40th. But if he came like 30th in the end of season, he wouldn't get that bonus payout.
I do have another guy because he has to do something this week to make the playoffs because he's an 85th.
Sahith.
It's not Sahith. Is Sahith in the playoffs?
Probably not.
Yeah, he is. He's 43rd in the FedEx Cup.
Okay.
He's more than safe.
Feels like he was, honestly, if you had to make me guess, I would have guessed around the bubble. So
you have to remember there's a lot
is
of
the perception way worse than the results there?
No, because he had a night all you really need to make the playoffs is like a really hot 3-week run, and he had that between Amex, Farmers, and Phoenix. It's just it happened so long ago you don't remember him being good this year.
Yeah, the Chargers were still playing.
Well, not so much in Phoenix.
Well, so at the start, maybe.
Maybe this year they'll be playing during the week of the Phoenix Open.
No.
You would be a mess that week.
I would be gone.
Where is it in Brentwood again?
It's
this
in
year?
LA.
Yeah.
It's in LA.
So Pendrith is one of those guys that generally plays short courses better than he plays long courses. Cam Davis was another one like that. That's just every time you'd see like a Pete Dye sort of track or one of the shorter tracks, all of a sudden he'd be T7. Pebble Beach being another one. Straka has some interest to me just because I don't understand what happened to
Seeing
him.
100.
He's 100-1. Has he really been that bad?
I think so.
I thought he played well at the Open. But again, what versus him,
I don't know.
me thinking he might miss the cut, that could be an issue here. Let's see what old said. Let's go to the rabbit hole. BetSportsGolf.com.
Shouldn't Harry Hall be shorter than this?
He's been bad. Yeah, let's see. U.S. Open. So U.S. Open, Travelers, Scottish, and Open. Cut 72nd in a no cut of 72 people. Cut in T67. Yeah, I can see why his odds suck. But again, he's another one who, perfect course for him.
Yeah. Like, you can make money on Zach Blair this week. Wouldn't bet him to win, but get around just nice.
Yeah, you could just talk yourself into a top 30 on him. You mentioned Glover. Why not Glover? He's won here before.
Yeah, he won in his 2-month unconscious run.
It was a 2-week unconscious run. He won
When
the Wyndham, then he won St. Jude, then you never heard from him for 3 years.
Jason Day is here.
He is. Well, so here's the FedEx Cup standings of guys that need to do something. Shout out to Michael Kim because I think he played well enough with his finish to, he moved up to 59th. He's safe. So guys on the bubble right now. So the 10, 61 through 70 who are in right now, Taylor, Harry Hall, Harmon Rogers, Potgieter, Ricky Castillo, Matty Schmidt, Matty Schmidt's another one who plays those short course as well. And Bentgrass. This is not Bentgrass. Jordan Smith, Stephen Fisk, and Jackson Coyven remained at number 70. Then you have Meisner at 71, Keegan, Putnam, Kiefer, Day, Smotherman, Jagger, Lipsky, Hoagie, Wallace, Davis Thompson, Suber, Sneds, Snedeker's maybe a look here, McCarthy, Pendrith, Brooks, Kevin Roy, Finau, Phillips, and John Perry. Now, you obviously have like your Ben Coles, your Bauschu's, your Rasmus Niergaard Petersons, Lucas Glovers, even someone like Brendan. Like Brendan for most of the weekend had earned his playoff spot until, you know what Brendan ended up coming?
Oh, I got 12th.
15th.
He missed his T20 last week.
It just these like once it goes bad, it goes so bad.
See, but that's the thing. Not all, like, you'll give a guy, like, in a year from now, you'll look at the results. You'll be like, oh, that guy finished 4th. What a great tournament. But your memory will be like Brendan finished 4th.
Yeah, so that's I think this is a very interesting discussion. Probably not one for you and I to have, maybe some more of the data guys, or even with Blickel, with him being in the pro like realm of being a golfer. Who had a better week? Hideki, who came 8th, or Brennan, who came 15th?
Yeah, fair.
Like Brennan played amazing through what? 60 holes, and Hideki surged on Sunday to put up a performance. But one guy was leading at the turn going in on Sunday and then just melted.
So I just opened up someone because I couldn't even remember when he played last, but he's missed 4 of his last 5 cuts. He's over 100 to 1. That's Daniel Berger. And it's weird. Why would he not have played Detroit or Minnesota?
And I don't know what goes on with that guy. He's and somehow he's firmly in the playoffs. Because he almost won API.
Well, you mentioned that hot run. He had a good he had a T. Didn't he have a T2 at Arnold Palmer?
He should have won. Akshay beat him. He was winning that tournament for most of it.
And he had a T5 or something in football season, or in when you mentioned Sahith was good. He played decent.
There you are. Outside of that one tournament, I don't remember him being good at all this year. Straka, 37th in the FedEx Cup. All right, so we've talked through most of this. Let's try to get some quick picks. I've bet on 2 guys already. I bet on Tom Kim at 35 to 1 and Luke Clanton. I am Clanton, 125 to 1 with 8 places. I'll probably end up on Yella Miraju as long as the odds dictate it. What am I seeing? Is he just not even putting him up here? Where's old Yella at? I mean, maybe he WD'd because now I don't even see him. Do you see him on the betting board?
I did not see him.
So maybe he decided not to play because he too is firmly in the playoffs, but he showed up on the initial list. So he's not even playing, so I'm not betting him. Probably a good bet. Brian Campbell, first round leader, and I'll probably get to Bud Colley, honestly, if his odds continue to remain like so deep. And then I got to think about the Blades Browns, the Alex Fitzpatrick. So yeah, 80 to 1 Bud Colley. I'll bet Bud Colley 80 to 1. So Tom Kim, Bud Colley, Luke Clanton will be the 3 I'm for sure in on. The newsletter will have the rest. So
it's weird to say, but I hit a winner last night. I haven't cashed it out yet, but I didn't make a bet yet either. This one's sort of marinating with me. Ryan Gerard, Tom Kim, under the 40, in the 30s, who I'm considering. We didn't really talk about it for betting this week, but I have not crossed off the thought of betting Cantlay 22 to 1. I think he can hit the ball like he hit it last week and make some putts. Moving back, Alex Fitzpatrick, Mac Meisner, Alex Noren, all in play for me. Going even further back, I want to. I'll be on Ben James again. That's like the guarantee because Pat's got me on this wagon, and PGA Tour you guys win. So we're gonna do that.
I'll go along with you. I'll go Ben James with you. I'll do that as we speak right now. $30 pays 2,400. Let's go.
And I don't know that I can trust Grillo to win, but Pat, everything Pat mentioned, his name sort of popped up from comp courses to who's hitting the ball well. And I'm gonna deep dive Marco Page because I want to be back on there, and I'm a bit of a slut for the guy at the moment. So if it was just a putter, I can be an apologist. I just need to, figure out if he's, I can admit what I don't know, and I don't know like how complete the game is there. So I'm just curious if it's like bomb or bust. But I doubt it because he, as Pat mentioned, those European courses, not all of them are bomb and bust, and he contended every week.
So the top 12 in the I have my model saved that you guys can access up on betsportsgolf.com right now. And it is Coles at number 1, Blades Brown, Tom Kim, Koiven, Cam Young, Zach Blair, who you had mentioned, Hideki, Cantlay, Bezadenhout, Suber, Davis Chatfield, and Emiliano Grillo are your top 12. Joel Damon up there as well. Has Joel Damon been playing well or something? What the fuck's going on with him? Damon. No, he has not really been playing well. He's no top 20s. So probably not going to bet him. Davis Chatfield's a name, though, that I've heard before.
And where are they next week?
St. Jude.
One of the best weeks of the year.
Yeah, great field, top 70. Great course.
Great field, great course. No one is everyone who's there has earned their spot. I assume certain guys won't play though, right? A couple of them like to.
Probably just Rory. Rory's the only one who really ever skips it. I saw Rory at like a nightclub. No, Rory was tearing it up at a nightclub in Ibiza. Dude is just living the life right now.
Good for him. Hideki, I feel like maybe in the other format, he really liked to skip an early run.
It's tough. It's tough to do now, though, honestly.
But will have played. It's going to be a lot of golf if he's not planning on skipping next week.
And
that's more golf than he normally plays.
He's fine to skip as well because he's 24th. You know, okay. You want to talk about a hot run to make your year? You know, he was 25th in the FedEx Cup.
I'll be shocked, but tell me.
Alex Smalley,
70-1 this week.
Dude, I didn't even know he was in the field. That's how poorly he's played since his big run. Just got hot for 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's like you mentioned. All it takes is like a 3-week eclipse, and you are safely in the in the FedEx.
One and done picks for the week. I believe I have the sheet up in front of me. Just let me confirm here. Oh, I did take Tom Kim. I took him at the John Deere, so I can't take Tom Kim. Do you have a pick? You can take Tom Kim.
Tim picking?
Tim is picking Aaron Rye.
Okay. I'll take Alex Fitzpatrick.
You don't want Tom Kim. You want Fitz.
I feel like I don't want to go back on it. It's probably a dumb thing to do. Okay, give me Tom Kim. Yeah, he's just too safe.
I can't use either of them because I have used Alex Fitzpatrick as well. Who the hell does that leave me? Aaron Wise is available. I've used Koiven. I don't think I've used Cantlay. Do I even want to use Cantlay? I guess would be the question. Have I used Cantlay? Patrick Cantlay? Nah, I have. I used him at Memorial. Great week. Great week, pal. Yeah, 319,000 is not bad. You need a win to catch up to me, though, because my Koiven win 2 weeks ago was very helpful in that regard. Ben Grimm.
I might have some big guns left, though, in the FedEx Cup.
That's fine. They still have to play well when you take them.
That's the key.
And it's not like actually maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe maybe the prize pools are good enough. I guess I have to use like Herman or Gerard. I guess Gerard would be if I haven't used Gerard.
I've been saving. I meant to save it.
I'll use Gerard.
Oh, that's a good one. You haven't used that. I used it last week.
I gotta go through and take a finer tooth comb to this. Nah, I don't see. No, I haven't used them yet, so we're good.
I want to save something for a Judge Cust.
Okay.
But I meant to tell you last week, there was an incident at my golf club. Normally like a real incident, I guess, would be like labeled confidential. But at the member guest, I only want to give some small nuggets because I want to save this for Judge Cust. But at the end of day one of the member guest, there's like a dinner. Everyone showered, they eat, the bar, good times. It always ends with, anyone who wants, but it's normally the young guys who get it going, like a chip off for money. Go out to like the we have 3 nines, but go out to like the green right by the thing.
May I stop you for a second? I'm shocked it's only the young guys because I feel like that's where the old guy, even like the 75-year-old guys, like have an advantage.
Yes, and I got dummied by, again, my dad's. Our only loss in pool play was to my dad's buddy who's 80 years old, plays from the whites, green side and 2, chips everything to 2 feet. you can't, it's demoralizing. So you're right, but they're gassed. Their day's over.
Yeah, that's fair.
And they're not like, you think, like, even if they're old and they have like money, they just want to go home. They're not like looking for like $40 or whatever.
They have millions. They're fine.
Yeah, they're fine. They're, they'd rather go home. They don't want to go find their wedge. But it's late in the day, and there are some people. This is how I'll tease it. There are people who are still on the golf course. 98% of the people lean into it. Like, oh, we have a gallery. Like, people are here. We're kids, women, guys. It's fun. You play a gallery. People are cheering or jeering the shots. At that point, you play into it. Well, let me tell you, there was one guy, white pants, white belt, white shirt.
Actually,
you think he was in U.S. Open quali. He was not game. And it got. So I'm curious where Judge Cust will fall on it. But
so you were mad that he was dressed like he was playing in the U.S. Open?
No, I'm just saying this is a very serious individual.
Oh, so he was like Lance Storm. If I could be
like
serious,
everyone else, as I mentioned, was like sort of playing into the fact that people are around the green
having fun.
And, obviously, you listen. Like there's played into it when they're actually coming to the green, hitting the approach. The balls are removed, the close ones marked. Everyone is game. Everyone was game. There was one individual was not game. And it turned into a bit of a thing.
Oh, that's amazing. I love stuff like this.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll save like the more details for it. But
as someone who could have been that guy when I was like 20 and quickly evolved out of that phase of my life of taking things a bit too seriously and just learning to have some fun with things that don't mean anything, there's nothing more entertaining to me than that now.
And I'll tell you,
I see my former self in that.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, oh my God, this guy's got like 8 minutes or it's like dark. Like, bro, just anyhow. That was you call that a tease. It was a long tease, but the details will be saved for Judge Cust.
Well, there's no Judge Cust this week. There was last week. If you want to check out 4 new cases, including one about someone stealing someone's wedge that didn't involve Tim for the first time. We're going to be working on that YouTube golf stuff. We're going to try to get Geoff down here to film one along with the AFC and NFC West champions and win total show. But we are recording the Custies this weekend, so that's going to be fun.
Yes, and I don't mean to like steal it because it's inside baseball. I'm not stealing, but I don't know whether it was an actual message or just in your personal friends group chat. But you posted in our chat. You showed me some of the great the really cool drone footage you, Jared, and the crew pulled off for the golf. But I don't know where the comment came from, but I laughed my ass off. It was, if only we had drone footage of Tim stealing Buddy's wedge.
It's now become a running joke. I don't even know if the guys whose wedge got taken has even been informed that his wedge got taken yet. I have no idea. He's from the other side of the group that we go with. Like, he's friends with someone else. That's how he got brought in. That I don't really know him outside of the 3 days that I spend with him past 2 years.
He's a warm body for the Ryder Cup.
Well, we have four. We have 4 what we like to call. There's the specials group. Because the last day we pair everyone together based on their individual scores of the weekend. That 1 and 2 on team 1 play one as a team in 4-ball, play 1 and 2 on team 2, and that's the final group all the way down through like the 7 and 8 versus 7 and 8. And there's always the first group out is the specials group, as we like to call them. And this year we actually have 4 specials, which is really nice. They can play each other, and we know who the 4 are going to be. But to your point earlier, we try to spread them out with different people throughout the course of the week, to play. We're doing a Stableford one this year, I think in individuals, like they're playing each other like one-on-one, but in different groups, not playing with each other, so you don't get a repeat the entire time. But they're actually paired together on the Saturday morning scramble, which will be hilarious.
Oh, love it. When is your trip?
It's at the last week of the month, so I need to get you here before that.
Okay, I think we can pull that.
Yeah,
off.
I leave the 26th to the 30th to go play, and then the Custies will be airing on the 31st because I'll need a day to recover, Jeff.
Yep. And then it's on.
But what we could do is maybe, let's see, the 3rd. Today's the 3rd, the 10th. Maybe get you here for the 17th or even the 16th, 17th. We can record on the 16th, record on the 17th. We could do golf that morning because that'll be Eastlake. So that'll take Eastlake will be the next week. That would be like the BMW Championship. Get that done early. Maybe record a football with Cust or do that the day before, then go out and shoot that night. I know Mondays are tough for you, though.
No, I mean, if I'm gone, then I can take it off. Might need to come the 17th. I think my wife's away the 15th, 16th, which would actually set up perfect for me to go away.
We could record.
So that actually just could land perfectly. Not that my wife wouldn't let. It doesn't work like I don't do enough fun things for her to say no. And like the 3 times a year I want to go have fun.
You could get in early, just come straight to the office and we can record.
Yeah.
Or we can do it at the end of the week kind of thing.
I like what we're thinking.
I mean, this is probably a conversation that we don't include.
That's okay.
You know what? Let's include it in the show. If people stuck around this long, they can see what we talk about.
It's been a long one, but I think a good one.
Yeah, listen, I had a ton of fun. I've been at tomorrow's show, Jeff. I know you like the Rob and Cam shows. It's fucking fire, man.
What division? Not that it matters.
AFC North.
Okay, yeah, it's boring. Could use some sizzle.
But Cam has been in like a bad space. He's been kind of sad over the past 3 weeks or so. Yeah, he got some good news, and he's in a really good mood for the show, and it's straight fire.
Can't wait. I don't even need any tease. I'll just watch it when the people get to see it.
It'll be on Tuesday morning, so it'll be here in less than 24 hours. I just uploaded it before we started the show. Now I need to go figure out some time codes and all that stuff. Anyway, thank you for sticking with us all the way through the end. We're having fun here in the end of golf season. Got to do something to keep it a little bit fresh, so tune back in tomorrow for Rob in studio and Cam for the AFC North. Keith and I on Wednesday or on Tuesday evening for the final word. Then we got more football coming up. Plus, I did a full injury breakdown with Dr. Edwin Porras, a physical therapist, going through all the key injuries for the NFL season. That's already out on the feed. It's up on the network. It came out on Sunday. Check it out if you get a chance. Edwin is top notch with this stuff. And you know, Jeff, he's not just shilling like peptides the entire time, which is really nice.
Love that.
Yeah,
those peptides, they'll get you.
Are you on peptides?
I honestly just found out what they were.
I don't even really know what they are. Are they like steroids?
Yeah. They're I'm old. I think I'm perpetually online, but then you cross things that seemingly everyone knows about but you, and you're just like, oh, okay, interesting. So I have just learned about these things.
Smash a like while you're here. Sub to Mayo Media Network. Leave a rating and review on the audio podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, where you can find the videos as well if you're looking for them. So thanks for sticking with us, all right? We'll see you next time.
Mayo Experience! Experience!